Oh, meow!
Meow.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Going on?
We lived, bitch.
We lived.
We did live, bitch. Thank you for the 22 months, Mockroach, and for the 13 months, Riley. How's everybody feeling tonight? Is everybody ready?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm
jealous. Everybody ready to take in some high culture? That's what I call this stream. This is our most culturally important, our most artistic appreciation stream that we do every year.
I'm really, really excited.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Synth isn't.
I could be excited if I thought about it.
Synth is out of his mind right now. Had a fun day off, and now you're ready to get
Synth
scared.
Whoa, you had a day off? A little spoiled.
A little spoiled.
I
did.
did.
Incoming. God damn.
As soon as I got internet back, I did see Synth playing UFO 50. So you Synth trying.
Are you serious?
Not paying attention.
I was waiting!
Okay, that's fair.
I was playing Pokemon.
Did you see the UFO 50 plush toy?
I did.
You gotta get him. You gotta get him.
You don't like it? He's
you
awesome.
You gotta get him. You gotta get the UFO 50 plush toy as a real UFO head. As an
He's a little ugly.
One. He is a little ugly.
UFO head.
He is a little ugly. So here's the big question. What order do we want to do our reading in? I feel like we always end up going at some level of order. I don't know what though.
I think Synth should go first.
You think Synth should go first?
I think Synth should go first because it's like a hazing. We're forcing him to pay attention to stream.
Oh yeah.
Notice that Synth does not reply.
This is ridiculous. It's a fucking special occasion.
It's a special occasion. It's an event stream
right now.
Next year we're gonna replace him with Tyler and Floofy. You know what? Next year we're gonna replace him with Amy.
I was getting peanut butter.
Why?
I'm hungry.
That's not scary at all. You better be putting some raisins in that so they look like ants.
You should make some frogs on a log or whatever.
I love frogs on a log.
We don't have raisins, but I could put it on some smellery.
But
then I'd have to go downstairs again.
Synth says, bro walked up the... Aubrey says, bro walked up the steps giggling. I swear to God.
Every time we mention you doing anything, we call you out at the perfect time. It's awesome.
It's really annoying.
It's like we have a knack for it. As soon as you don't say anything for like a minute, I feel like if we mention you by name, you're like off fucking playing with the fairies or some shit. Like every time.
You're being abducted by the Greys.
I'm certain with a real humdinger.
Okay.
This one's called Portal 2, the elaborate trap.
Oh, hold on. Can you hold on 1 second? I have
Are
to
we gonna get scary portal music?
I have to do what I do every time that we do one of these. And it's so fucking red. It's also so in front of us. Hold on. It's so red and so in front of us. I'm gonna make it less red. Hold on.
This kind of looks like the version of Portal that I played.
Wait, I remember it like this. Are you telling me Portal didn't always look like this?
This not the way it's supposed to look?
That's so red.
Portal's red for you?
Red Portal gameplay? Is this like Silent Hill? Yeah, this is what it looks like. It's the save point. This is what it looks like when you save Portal.
You know what? This is fine. I'm just gonna let it be this red. I think it's funny for it to be like really evil looking.
Like
all right,
Synth,
play us off. Play us on. I mean, play us on, Synth. Can you read the name of the story again in a scary voice?
Portal 2, the elaborate trap.
Ooh!
Today, I purchased Portal 2 from Steam. I've been waiting to play the game for some time. However, what I was about to experience would change the way I look at Portal 2 forever. Chapter 1.
Chapters? What?
Whoa.
When I bought Portal 2, it took a total of 2 hours for it to fully download.
This guy's got my internet.
Finished downloading, I started it up. I was amazed at how different and cool the menu was. Valve had done a great job already. When I started the game, I was in this bright, cheerful room with a different voice than GLaDOS giving me instructions.
A different voice
Afterwards,
than GLaDOS.
I went to bed in the game. After that, I played through the chapters, all the way to right before the fall. You know the cake trap door? The one in Portal 2 where GLaDOS baits you with a door that says
I do!
GLaDOS emergency shutdown and cake dispensary?
I know that!
Unlocked?
I know that!
Queeve was just
That
stomping on the floor like a child.
I was actually clapping my hands together like a child.
Oh, it was shaking the floor.
I have a strong clap. Have you seen my my hands, my wings?
Yeah, you've got those big wings. I've seen you in Party Battle. Go on, Sid. I'm invested.
When I reach that area, usually there isn't a way out. You're supposed to fall for it. However, when I got there, before I took the bait and went down the pit, I looked around. To my surprise, I loved watching walkthroughs and such of Portal 2, so I generally knew a lot of the surroundings and where they were. I saw a white panel further away than the one that is above the trap was. Instead of portaling the ceiling of the trap, I portaled that one instead.
Okay.
Something in my gut told me to stop there and to turn around and take the bait. I ignored it. It's just a game. It can't hurt you. There is nothing scary about Portal 2 anyways. Chapter 2, the second trap.
Oh, there's short trap.
In Portal 2, when you take the bait, GLaDOS will mention a much more, quote, elaborate trap up ahead for when the player, quote, got through the easy one. I was assuming what I was looking at was the real trap. Usually you could never get to the trap as you were supposed to take the bait, so I was generally confused, yet excited. Perhaps I had gotten a special exclusive version where it was possible to take a whole new turn on the storyline with the mentioned trap? Anyway, I'm getting off track. What happened next seemed normal. It was a simple test chamber like room door and such. No entry door, open ceiling. I hopped in, expecting something to pop out or some kind of trap. Nothing. Nothing at all. I was surprised. I couldn't get a portal anywhere in the room, like the cake trap room, save for the white panel above. There were moderate test elements, classic button and box. When I put the cube on the button, the door opened. It led to what seemed to be GLaDOS' core room. I braced myself for a fight. When I walked down the newly opened hallway, I was suddenly trapped into a glass box like when you fall for the cake trap. Instead of GLaDOS saying something to you, I heard GLaDOS maniacally laughing. As I started to move down the hall in the box, I heard metal sparks and twitches and the sound of something being crushed. I heard GLaDOS say, "You're nothing but trash, a waste of space." Kind of trying. I don't remember what she said.
You are nothing but trash. You are nothing but space.
Was she referring to me? And who was she talking to? Did GLaDOS go insane? When I entered the room, I was horrified. I saw blood everywhere. On the walls, the floor, the stalemate button, now wrecked to prevent the stalemate scene from even occurring. When I looked in GLaDOS' direction, I saw a horrific scene. I saw dead bodies of people. No, rather, employees? Scattered around, with GLaDOS covered in blood. She was crushing and, effectively, destroying Wheatley. Wheatley was one of my favorite characters. Despite trying to kill you on numerous occasions like GLaDOS, he was my favorite. I was starting to wonder if I was even playing a legit game. Had the server been hacked and replaced with a seriously effed up and hacked version of the game? How many other differences had I missed? Why was this happening? While I questioned myself, I looked back and saw GLaDOS throw Wheatley's dead spherical body at the wall, shattering it into pieces and sparks. GLaDOS looked at me in my box, trapped. I could only sit and watch as to what would happen next. She said, "Ah, there you are. Have you ever heard your name at all in your life? No. Well, here it is. I'm going to kill you, Shell." Okay. Half of that was real scrapped dialogue, but it was never used. What the hell? Chapter 3, Death Incarnate.
What? I love creepypasta chapters.
I have to, before you continue, I do have to say, Pang said this in chat like 5 minutes ago. I love a creepypasta that requires you to like know everything about the game already. Like you have to know specific rooms. Like, oh, remember this part?
Layout memorized.
Remember this room? Remember this room?
You know the panel in that room? The panel up there next to that panel in the room?
Classic panel.
GLaDOS suddenly let out a robotic fist, like Wheatley does, to punch you into the pit.
Like Wheatley does.
Bits, by the way, Knack. Thank you so much.
And punched at the glass box. It was aimed at me, so I moved. It shattered the glass, allowing me to escape. The music from When Wheatley Helps You Escape played, except it was slower, demonic, and sounded horrific, as if I was meant to die and could not escape even if I tried. GLaDOS then said while following me as I circled across her, "What are you doing? There is no escape. Ha 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 ha. If there was any point to your life at all, I would allow you to live, but seeing that is not true, there is no point to keeping you alive. I have no use for you. You are a pain in my backside. It's time to die.
She's a chatterbox.
You're next." GLaDOS said, "On that last part, you're next." She looked at the player, but in a different way.
Hubba!
That sent chills down my spine. It looked like she was looking at me. I started to jump to gain speed. GLaDOS started throwing punches that kept missing.
I started bee-hopping.
Until she wised up a bit in her, open parentheses, AI, question mark, close parentheses, and punched in front of me. I backed away and was met with a sickening punch into the wall. I heard bones crunching and saw realistic blood on the floor.
I'm gonna take a small shot every time I hear realistic blood in one of these.
You're gonna be fucking dead.
I'll be fine.
With a horrific thud. When she retracted the fist, the player view fell to the ground, as though I was seeing through what would happen to Shell's POV if this really happened. Like at the end of the game's Shoot the Moon scene.
Jesus fucking
I was
Christ.
horrified. GLaDOS began laughing maniacally. Then she repeated, "I'm going to kill you, Shell," again. And then repeated, "I'm going to kill you," over and over. Shell's POV looked up, and she was repeatedly punched with the fist. The screen got redder and redder as more sickening sounds were heard. Skulls being cracked, lungs being crushed, bones being snapped in half, and plain sickening gore.
Oh my
then
god.
It blacked out and went to the loading screen as if I died in a normal test. I was in shock of what happened. I couldn't move for a second. After I came to sense of what just happened, I looked at my screen. I was at the place I saved before choosing the second path. The second path was gone. The normal route you're forced to take is the only possible way. To see if what I saw would repeat itself, I took the normal path. Same old dialogue and trap. When it went to the core room, it was all normal. No blood, no murder. Just the transfer and such. All normal. What the hell just happened? Epilogue.
Oh,
yay!
Right to the epilogue.
Words of wisdom, friends. If you ever see a possible alternate path in Portal 2 before the cake trap, don't let your curiosity get the better of you. If you can, take the other route. Restart Portal 2, turn it off, and wait a few hours. For the latter two, beg to God if you come back, it's gone. For the former, never be urged into going back unless you want to experience the unseeable horrors I experienced.
The invisible horrors.
I still have nightmares of poor little Wheatley and Shell being murdered.
Poor little Wheatley.
I love normal.
I love when a creepypasta ends with like a moral.
Yeah.
They're like, learn my lesson.
It's a
good message.
It's an Aesop fable.
Yeah, they're all like fable-ish. Someone in chat mentioned POV GLaDOS beats you up, and I was just imagining that gif of the guy punching his phone camera in like 50 different ways in a row.
Dude, is GLaDOS really AI?
I think she's a villain. I think she's a villain.
Is she AI?
That was a scary story.
That was a really scary start to the story.
Poor little Wheatley. Everybody cheered when he died specifically. Can I go next?
You want to go next? What's your story?
I have Kirby. Why?
Okay.
I have a couple of images with it that you can bring up.
Shit.
Yeah, there's 2 images labeled. One is labeled Art by Me, which I think is for the end, and one is labeled Sad Kirby, which I think is for the beginning. I'm gonna link them in chat so you can bring them up when they come on. I'll just tell you when they come up.
Okay.
Here's Sad Kirby.
My fucking god.
Here's Art by Me.
Alright, I'm really excited for Kirby Y. Your mic broke.
Also worth noting.
Okay.
This story is written almost like a poem. Every line is like 5 or 6 words long, and then it shifts to a new line break. So I'm gonna read it with the line breaks as well.
Okay. I'm excited.
Okay, here we go.
I'm ready.
This is Kirby. Why?
Why?
Ooh, well, let me get smaller.
Kirby. Why?
Okay.
Why?
I loved Kirby when I was little. He was always a cute character.
Mm-hmm.
I also made Kirby in Super Smash Bros. I went to buy a Kirby game for my Nintendo DS.
Oh.
I found a strange SD card called Final Fantasy XXX.
Oh!
Whoa,
It was
TOS!
It was written in a Japanese font.
What? What?
Okay.
I took it and I went home. I put it in my Nintendo DS and started playing. It didn't show the HAL logo like it always does. There was no title. Only press start. I pressed start. I checked through all the files. The only file was... File 0? Strange. I decided to click it. There was a cutscene. It started with blue greens. But Kirby looked different. He looked scared. Bring up Kirby Sad, please.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Let me bring up Kirby Sad. This has a really red hue over it because of where it is.
Oh.
You can see that he's sad, though.
You can zoom in because we need the little detail on his eyes and mouth.
Let me quickly turn off my red filter.
Kirby was crying and blood was coming out of his mouth.
There.
I decided to control Kirby. But Kirby walked slow. Come on, I said. Later, Kirby walked a little faster. Then the screen turned black. It then showed Kirby with King DDD.
Aww.
But King DDD had blood on his hammer.
Aww.
His eyes were black. Blood was coming out of his eyes. King DDD. I'm sorry, Kirby. I must kill you. Then King DDD grabbed the knife. Then DDD said one thing final before killing Kirby. King DDD. Goodbye, Kirby. Then he stabbed Kirby. He was dead.
Aw, shit.
He was in a puddle of blood.
Fuck!
Then it showed King DDD crying.
What did he do?
The screen turned black. Then the text read, Kirby is dead. You're next.
Aw.
Then Kirby showed up. You can bring up Art by Me now. Kirby was still crying and blood was coming out of Kirby mouth. I turned the Nintendo DS off. I never played any Kirby games ever again.
Aw, that's so sad.
So, for everyone, if you find an odd SD card, don't pick it up. Instead, leave it. Because that's what I should have done rather than look at it.
Morals. These are two like stories that end with hyper-specific morals, where it's like, yeah, by the way, if this crazy shit ever happens to you, don't do it.
For us at the campfire, I'm linking this.
Final Fantasy XXX.
I don't know. I have no idea.
In Japanese font.
I'm linking this post just so you can see like how it's typed.
I did see.
I hate the wiki emblem.
It's disgusting.
Dude, I also have a Kirby one that I want to read, but I'm gonna save it. I don't want to do it this rotation because.
I think you're next. I think it's your call.
I mean, Noel, do you want to go or do you want me to go? I don't really care either way.
I could go next. I have
mine
are really short, so I don't know how to approach my collection of them.
If you have like a really short one, depending on how many you have, you can always combine two like really short ones into
two
like
short
a
ones is
exciting
fine.
double feature. But it's up to you.
I think I'm gonna lead with my just a little sweet one.
If you want a long one, let me know. I have one that I think you'd like.
So mine's not video game oriented. I wish I found more video game ones, but all of mine is just like random shit from.
No, that's good. I love random shit ones.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're gonna have so many video game ones. It's gonna be nice to have like a change in pace, I think.
This one's called Holder of Balance. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to.
Okay.
When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the Holder of Balance. Upon this request, the worker will insist that you must be here to see the Holder of Love and begin leading you down a small corridor. If you do not quickly interject before the worker has left the room, then you will forever lose the chance to complete your task. Following him can only lead to the Holder of Love. Should you speak in time, the worker will slam the door to which he was headed and remove a large umbrella from his left breast pocket. Steal it from him and open it horizontally before he has a chance to take it back. The inside of the umbrella is a doorway through which you must pass.
Whoa!
Who just popped open a car?
Was that
It's right next to me.
I imagine you in your big creepypasta chair and Ace is uncorking a new wine bottle for you.
That's literally what the deal is.
That's awesome.
The inside of the umbrella is the doorway through which you must pass. The room to which you have come is dark and moist. All that is visible is a decaying head protruding through the wall, his left hand covering his eyes, and his right holding a set of golden scales. As you approach him, you will notice two small men, one on each side of the scale, about 1.5 inches tall. The man on the left is clothed in black, and the other is in white. Walk into the light that illuminates the men and let them see you clearly. The man in black will threaten to end his life with a shiny black pistol he will pull from his pocket.
Oh, do it!
Should he die and fall off of the scales, the imbalance will cause the room to collapse.
Oh.
To keep the scales from tipping, you must convince the man in white to kill himself or the man in black to spare his own life. If the balance is kept, say to the man holding the scales, "I have kept the balance." He will open his mouth to respond, but only a feather will float from his mouth.
Okay.
The feather is object 142 of 538.
What?
Keep it should you ever need balance. And that's it.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean?
What the hell?
What does that mean?
Item 132 of 538?
Read it through and I was like, what the fuck?
Alright.
Was that written by
I really hope that I get item 132 of 548. I'm
No,
really
that's
rooting
item.
for
I
that.
could use some 132 in my life.
Yeah, I
say.
need a bit of 132 over 538 days.
I like the tiny 1.5 inch guy on the scale having like an even smaller gun in his pocket.
I like that if the man in black dies, you can either tell him to not die or you can try and get the other guy to die really quickly.
Yeah,
I
because
think that's awesome.
balance.
That's. I love a tutorial creepypasta. Can you want that? I got stuck on the little men step.
Do you want to chain together two short ones, or do you want me to do one? There we go. I have GameGrumps, episode 666.
Okay.
Oh no!
So, have you heard of the online show GameGrumps? Well, if you haven't, thank you, Tyler, for the raid. It's a collaborative gameplay channel where YouTubers JonTron, John Fafari, and Ego Raptor Aaron Hansen play video games together and upload the hilarious commentaries to YouTube with the help of their friend Barry. I consider myself a quote-unquote hardcore fan of GameGrumps, knowing most quotes, watched all episode of their gameplays at least twice, even 3 times if it was good enough, it usually is. So you may be asking yourself, hey, it's GameGrumps! How could anything be creepy from 2 guys playing video games? Thank you for that.
True.
Thank you for the
I
good
ask
stuff,
that all the
Kimbo,
time.
Also. Well, that's where you're wrong. It was a normal day after school. I usually have a snack, then go to my computer to watch the 1 or 2 GameGrumps episodes they've put up, but that day, there was nothing in my sub box on YouTube.
No.
Fuck.
Thinking it was
Late
a glitch
upload.
with YouTube, since it's, well, YouTube. I went straight to their channel to see if it was just a mistake. I really wish I didn't. I check on the channel and see a new episode of Sonic 06, which is their best series in my opinion, but something was off about the thumbnail. it seemed crudely drawn and not like Aaron's other artwork. And the title was odd too. It said Sonic 06, do not upload. I thought nothing of it and thought it was a joke by Barry as if it was a joke within the episode, so I thought nothing of it and clicked the video, sitted back, and relaxed. The video started off normally with the trademark, "Hey, I'm Grump, I'm not so Grump" intro, but again in that crude animation. I thought to myself that it was a bit strange, but still thought nothing of it. Then, the episode started. It started off with John, seeming sad and monotone, saying, "Welcome back to GameGrumps." And Aaron simply stating, "Yeah." I thought it was a bit odd that they weren't their usual upbeat, happy selves, and then thought that they were simply tired from playing the game for 80+ episodes, so Aaron is playing and trying to make some small talk with John, who us just offering Aaron in a monotone voice, which actually seemed a bit sad now, more than monotone now, as John and Aaron were playing through the silver campaign, but the game seemed more glitchier than usual, with silver clipping through the ground and some of the citizens in the game just walking through things like trash cans and trees, but the citizens looked a bit more sad. About after 4 minutes of Aaron playing and dying, John started to mumble something that I couldn't make out, and Aaron asks, "John, you okay, buddy?" But John just keeps mumbling, almost sounding like he's chanting. Aaron kept asking, "John, are you okay?" After a minute of John mumbling, I guess John got up and went out of the room since Aaron asked John, "Where you going, bug?" After a couple moments, John came back with some kind of blade. Aaron asked what John was doing with the blade, but he said nothing and was just silent. Aaron was whimpering now, wondering what his best friend was doing in his room with a blade. After about 2 minutes of silence, you just hear Aaron yell, "John, no!" And after that, you hear a body and the mic drop onto the floor and Aaron just sobbing.
Where you going, bug?
After 2 minutes of Aaron sobbing next to his friend's dead body, he stood up and I guess grabbed the blade, because about 10 seconds later you heard another thud to the floor, all while in the game, Silver the Hedgehog was staring at the screen. I had absolutely no idea what I just saw. I refreshed the video to see if anyone else had commented / seen it, but as soon as I refreshed it, I got transferred to a 404 YouTube page and saw there was no GameGrumps uploads at all. After that, I turned off my computer and went straight to bed, hoping what I just saw would go away. That's GameGrumps episode 666.
That's crazy.
That's my scariest story.
That's the alternate ending,
That
dude.
shit was scary.
That shit should have happened.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
That's harsh.
Sorry, obviously I was out getting peanut butter at the start of the stream. Did we mention that you have to keep your eye out for the baby written creepypasta?
Yeah.
Don't guess in advance, but yeah, there are a number of baby-written creepypastas in these piles.
The way that we do these is, I think that all of us write one creepypasta each.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at the end of stream, you'll have to guess which one every one of the individual babies wrote. So, keep in mind what we have read out loud specifically, and have in the back of your noggin, which one do you think we wrote?
I like all caps, baby written, question mark.
Baby written!
Synth, you're up.
Alright, this one is Rhythm Heaven, version 0.
I was hoping it'd be called Rhythm Hell.
no.
I was really hoping it would be called Rhythm Hell.
Sadly, no. Okay.
Like,
Here we
yeah,
go.
newborns wrote
Yeah.
creepypastas.
They usually
Something that I don't really like is people blaming ghosts and other supernatural bull for everything. Makes me sick. A
Yup.
less rational person probably would have blamed a ghost for the weird occurrences last week. I just blame a D-bag hacker. A genius D-bag hacker, but a D-bag hacker all the same.
Fucking Christ, stop saying that.
Those stupid fucking immoral hackers.
I hate D-bags.
Here's what happened. I was looking on eBay for the game Rhythm Heaven Fever, known over here in Britain
Good
as
choice.
Beat the Beat, Rhythm Paradise. A mouthful of a name that I stubbornly refused to address the game by. Anyway, I found somebody selling a PAL copy. Strangely, it had no description. I wasn't going to turn down an offer of 50 pence, so I bought it, and in a few days it got delivered to me. I put it into my Wii, and it seemed perfectly fine, other than the fact that it thought my battery power was low, even though it wasn't. That was nothing too strange. It happened to my friend too, who I first played the game with.
Yeah.
And that every game was unlocked, but with no medals, even the extras that needed medals. I first decided to play Remix 5, my favorite remix. When I entered, something was off. The melody was in a minor key, in an ominous piano tune.
No!
The music also got quieter and quieter. By the time I got to the launch party section, with the awesome part of the music, the song faded away, and the game turned to black.
No idea what the fuck
What
this
I
guy's
saw
talking
next
about.
made me turn away in disgust. A disturbing face appeared on screen, with red, 3D-looking eyes, a smile filled with a row of misshapen teeth, bloodstained at their flat ends. The black background the features were imposed on reminded me of Eversion? I turned away in disgust
Deep
and
cut.
heard a horrible chomping into meat noise. Really realistic. From the sideways glance I gave to it, it seemed that the characters are being eaten horrifically.
Oh my god!
I couldn't pause to leave, no matter how many times I spammed the pause button. I had to wait it out. By the end of the minigame, it had the normal results screen, but with macabre messages. It said, "You are a fool. You will never survive. Furthermore, nobody loves you."
Oh,
Harsh.
what the heck?
Instead of okay or try again, it screamed, "Die!" And I mean literally a blood-curdling scream. After that shock, I decided to check the other mini-games. And it was
wanna
just
play
Remix
more!
5 that did that.
This is
for
classic
some
D-bag
insane
shit.
reason. I checked my favorite game, Launch Party. Its logo was completely black, and the description read, "Launch Party is no more." It said the same with all the others in that column.
Fuck.
I checked another game, Flockstep, but the same thing happened to it. The face appeared, and the music was all sad. I turned my Wii off and decided to try to return the game, but the D-bag hacker that he is deleted his eBay account. I then decided to tell a forum I inhabit about the events.
I inhabit.
Then somebody posted, "Yeah, I hacked your Wii. What you gonna do about it, bitch?" I must say, for a genius D-bag hacker, he had awful spelling. I checked his profile to see if he had hacked anything else in his grammatically
What the
incorrect
fuck?
tongue. But I clicked his profile, and the aversion face from the game came over my screen, munching at a bunch of realistic body parts. I rebooted my computer then. Things were almost back to normal. When I say almost, there was still the munching sounds, and they're still there. I hate hackers. The next time I checked, the D-bag had removed all his accounts. I decided to go on Rhythm Heaven Fever once more. It was back to normal. Everything was. And there was no creepy face or sad piano. There was still the chomping. Everywhere I went, even in real life. Damn hackers.
Damn hackers.
Damn hackers.
Damn fucking hackers.
I really like the multiple mentions of aversion, a game I haven't thought about in like 10, 15 years or something.
It's a good one to have in there. I like the draw.
We were just talking about it the other week, so I was like, this one's a must-read.
So I think that the person who wrote this is the person who retweets like signs of who retweets images of cartoon characters holding signs that say like, "Remember, piracy is wrong."
Yeah.
The interpretation of hackers as wizards. It's like a reoccurring trope you see kind of often.
Dragon Ball Z lost episode Yamcha's Revenge.
Holy shit.
Fucking god, let's go, baby.
It was about 6 or 7 years ago. I went to an old movie store on the street corner. Me and my friends were all on the Dragon Ball Z at the time. So when I seen the Dragon Ball Z tape, I naturally grabbed it. It was just a picture of the normal cast: Goku, Piccolo, Krillin, Gohan, Vegeta, Tien, Chiaotzu, and a very faded Yamcha. I thought nothing of it. That does show up a lot. They always say I thought nothing of it.
They always are thinking nothing of things. I think that, like, there are a few things that are really, like, common, and I think I thought nothing of it, and I kept playing or watching this thing anyways, are two of my favorites.
Anyways. I thought nothing of it. Maybe just the picture got a little worn a little bit. I purchased it, and I headed home. And I invited a few of my close friends to watch it with me. I popped it in. The normal music in the intro played. Again, though, at the end of it, Yamcha was very faded among the cast. And his eyes were different. Very dark red tint to them. Me and my friends were weirded out, but we continued to watch. The episode was called A Grave Revenge. We never heard about that one, so we assumed it's some lost episode or something. The episode started. It took place after Boo had been defeated, since they were talking about how tough he was to defeat. Probably some boring dialogue episode. Then Krillin came back from Otherworld to greet the others. I remember Goku saying, "I thought Yamcha was with you."
That's a great Goku.
Krillin responded, "I lost him," with everyone in shock. I remember Goku asking how or something, but then the video went black. I kept hitting play, but nothing. Then I heard screams. Similar to those of the cast. The picture came back with everyone mangled. Left crawling away was Vegeta. Yamcha's voice was heard in a very demonic way. "Oh, look! The prince is scared!" Then Vegeta dropped. I went to shut off the tape, but he said it. "There's no running from me!" Me and my friends panicked. How could something this foolish be happening?
This foolish?
It doesn't seem real. The screen on the TV started to drip blood. It stained our floor. He appeared on the screen, dark red eyes, pale as a ghost. The TV shut off. We calmed down and turned on the lights. They shut off immediately. The TV started flashing. With every flash, more blood spilled from the TV. We were horrified. What was this? Some haunted tape? This cannot be real. This has to be a dream. How can a tape do this? I ejected the tape. It stopped. There was something written on the tape. The words, "Good night." My friends quickly left my house, leaving me with this tape.
They fucking bounced.
Alone. In the dark. My lights refused to work. Then I sat and thought about Yamcha. I always made fun of him. Even in Dragonball, where he had some relevance, I trashed on him. But what? I angered a fictional character? What the hell is this? I went outside. My friends were standing there. They decided they would stand by me. I took the tape out, spit on it, and chucked it into the sewer.
What?
My friends stayed the night. We slept well. Then I heard static coming from the living room. My TV was off! How is this even possible? I looked over quick at my friends. They were all pale and cold to the touch. They were dead. I screamed aloud, "This is not real! This is just some nightmare!" His voice echoed, "No!
Like a Dragon Ball.
This is my revenge!" I ran to the bathroom and locked my door. When I looked in the mirror, my reflection turned into him. It shattered. A shard flew into my eye. I screamed in pain. Suddenly I awoke. I was laying down in the hospital. I was hit by a car when I left the store. I looked at the table beside me. There the tape sat. The same faded picture. I took that tape and I threw it out the window. A week later, there was a news story about 3 teens that killed themselves after watching that tape.
Oh my fucking god.
The news refused to release the image that drove the teens to this. I looked online for a description at least. There was a description. A pale Yamcha with dark bleeding eyes standing above a dead collection of characters. Woo!
I like the added ooh.
I knew everyone was really tense after that, so I had to put some gas on it.
I was a little bit scared.
That was a scary one.
I think I delivered that one pretty good. I'm pretty happy.
I think
with
that was good. I like that.
That was good.
I like that all the dialogue was bizarrely Dragon Ball-esque for no reason. Everyone, my friends said they would stand by me.
Yamcha kind of owning that. Yeah, he kicked the shit out of that kid.
Tell two of them. I'm gonna tell two of my tales.
Oh shit! Tatua them?
I'm gonna do Tua Tales.
Tua Tales.
Welcome to the Tua Tales. This one's called The
Tales
Man
of
I
Tua.
Met on Birch Tree Road.
Ooh.
We all have the one person in our town, on our street, in our neighborhood who is very strange. Out of their minds, delusional, mentally insane. Birch Tree Road was no different. This one's for the Michiganites. I lived in a small town in Michigan.
Ooh.
It wasn't a pretty town, but it was a nice town to live in. The outskirts of the town contained a gas station, strip mall, and a subway I would frequent for lunches and suppers. The street I lived on, Birch Tree Road, was a quiet, peaceful street. Everyone seemed to have gotten along just fine. Until he moved in. I'll call him Mark. Mark was the type of person to harass anyone that didn't agree with him. He acted like he was a goody two-shoes, a man who could do no wrong. He had a drug addiction. He was addicted to heroin. He said, "It makes me feel alive." No matter how many interventions we put him through, he would find his way back to heroin like a long-lost lover.
Why was everyone doing that to him?
That was the day he snapped. After the intervention, I talked to Mark. I hadn't spoken with him much before, mostly because of the work I had to do at the local grocery store in the strip mall.
Okay.
Mark would occasionally come in and buy some junk food, steaks, other essentials. When I finally got to talk to him, he seemed more deranged than all the times I had spoken to him as I scanned his items at the checkout. He seemed on the verge of a mental breakdown. He said that I was a chill dude and that I should avoid him for the rest of the day.
Oh, no.
When I went home, I went upstairs. My mind was racing with the thoughts of what Mark was going to do. What if he shot up the next meeting? What if he's breaking into people's homes? I heard the sound of glass being smashed and shattered, and the sounds of footsteps landing in my living room. I looked around for a weapon, finding my pocket knife inside of my nightstand. Going downstairs, I found Mark. He was crazed out of his mind, and he raised the gun he had posted so many times on Facebook about. He said, "I was right. You are chill. And you especially will be after I put you into the meat freezer with the rest of you." The last thing I heard was the crack of a gunshot. I woke up in the hospital, hooked up to IV cables and being fed pain meds. I looked at one of the doctors as he said, "I remember you. You're Alex from Birch Tree Road. I'm Dr. Mark Brownlee." That was Mark's last name. The end.
What?
Okay.
What?
I don't understand what happened.
He's like, "Oh my god, this guy was going crazy, and he said he was going to shoot everyone, and then he broke into my home, and then he shot me in the head, and then he was my doctor."
I love non-video game creepypastas because I feel like you get to see the real creative writing stretch to its like natural limit from someone who doesn't know how to write a scary story. They just like have twists.
This one is called. The next one's called "Waking Unto Darkness." Darkness. That's all there was when I opened my eyes. Darkness. Darkness and silence. Then a drip. Then I remembered. I'm in an empty apartment with my windows boarded up, hiding from them. Drip. I rubbed the crust from my eyes, not bothering to remember why I passed out on the couch or what I had been doing. I patted my pocket to confirm the presence of my phone. Drip.
Drip.
I patted my other pocket. Yup, it's still there too. My gun. The nightmares this thing gives me will probably never go away. Drip. It's too quiet in here. That's funny. Usually I can hear them outside. They're not usually this quiet. Shaking my head, I dug around for the remote and put on an episode of Ridiculousness, my favorite comedy show. It's really funny.
It's really funny.
And yeah, you might be wondering how I'm watching TV if it sounds like I'm in a freaking zombie movie or something. Well, power and cable's still going. Don't ask me how. Drip. I patted my other pocket. Yup, it's still there too. My gun. Oh, I lost my place. My other gun.
And my other pocket. Yup, my gun.
Drip. What is that anyway? Leaky faucet? Drip. Drip. Oh, right. The bathroom. That's where I put her. After laughing at a particularly funny clip on ridiculousness, I got up and went to the bathroom. Drip. It's all dripping into the tub. Here's where I have to admit something I'm not exactly happy about. You see, I had to board the windows up because the sunlight hurts. And the only thing I can drink that doesn't make me throw up is blood.
Oh, shit!
Oh my god.
Right there, directly above the bathtub, are my neighbors and their kid. I understand now. I remember. That's why it's quiet. Why I crashed on the couch. That damn kid was running up and down the halls at night, keeping me up and getting on my nerves. I stepped outside to yell at him, and the little shit's parents came and started yelling back at me. I wasn't in a good mood and I was feeling hungry. I reached into my pocket and it was over as quickly as it started. I affixed the three of them to the ceiling, S-E-E-L-I-N-G, in a decorative fashion for no reason other than I felt like it. And now, it's all pooling in the tub. This won't keep me satisfied for long, but it'll keep me satisfied for now. Asterisk, stomach growling, asterisk, end.
Oh my god.
I like, I feel like the author maybe
awesome.
didn't like their neighbors.
Yeah, this is like, so he was writing his vampire story and there was a kid stopping around. He's like, fuck!
Don't ask me how the
Focus
kid
on the
was
vampire story!
Angry apartment dweller.
The story did change midway through. It was like in an apocalypse, and then it was like, actually, I am a vampire, and that's
And
why
then kill
the windows were. Don't ask me how the cable is still on, and like it's a normal world.
My favorite part is, yep, it's still there too.
Yup,
My gun.
it's still there too. My gun. I think that was a good selection.
Thank you. And those are my two. Those are the creepy Tua.
All right.
Creepy too.
Okay,
What you got,
hold on.
Qweave?
All right, I
The
have.
writer was watching the show while writing it. He had ridiculousness on.
I have Call of Duty. The Invite.
Oh, shit.
Hello, CREEPYPASTA readers. My name is Tyler. I am a 22-year-old college student majoring in video game designing. Anyway, I was looking all over the internet the past month to see where I could share one of the most bone-chilling experiences I have ever gone through. First, I'll give you some background. I used to be obsessed with Call of Duty. I spent all of the summer of 2007 playing Call of Duty 4 to try to get to the highest rank of 10th Prestige. After that summer, I realized it was time for me to grow up and, quote-unquote, get a life. After finishing high school at one of the top students in my grade, I decided I wanted to be a video game designer. I figured, since I used to play video games all the time, it would bring back the memories I had. I recently finished my last year of college and I'm still looking for a job somewhere, but after this experience, I'd rather stay out of the video game field. About a month ago, my parents told me they were selling the house I grew up in and find some retirement home to stay in. They wanted me to make sure everything that I wanted was out before they sold it. So I went over there at about 1 o'clock. It was a nice day, so I figured maybe I could have a beer with my dad out on the patio and enjoy the day. I went upstairs to my old room and boy did it bring back the memories. Posters of Captain Price and soap up on my wall. If you're a COD fan, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, true, I do!
I noticed something peculiar about Capitan Price. It seemed as though someone had colored his eyes red and drew little devil horns on his head. I figured it was my younger sister Molly a few years ago after we had a fight or something. What I also found was my Xbox in COD 4. I figured I would take it home and play it and see how it was now. I also noticed that the soldier on the cover also had devil horns.
Oh, shit.
But this time he also had a tail. Oh, Molly! She always had some way to try and get back at me. Or did she? I went home and put in COD, renewed my live account, and etched the Ethernet wires so I can play online. After about 5 minutes, I got into a game lobby. there were a lot more hackers than I remember. I kept dying because the hackers' names would come. D-bag hackers. I kept dying because the hackers' names would come up on the corner of the screen and block my view. After I played a few matches, I got a message from a gamertag I didn't recognize. The name was Paul Nancy 90. Coincidentally, the name of my parents, followed by the year I was born.
Oh my god.
In the message, he said that he had hacked the game to make the maps look a lot cooler. I decided that since I really didn't use his account anymore, and I didn't have to worry about hacking, I would join his lobby. I went into the game and the map looked a lot like my old neighborhood. I saw my old school, my old baseball field. But the most disturbing thing was that next to the school, there was a graveyard. And every tombstone said R.I.P. Tyler. I was a little spooked by that, but I figured it was a coincidence. For shits and giggles, I decided to walk the route I used to take from school to my house to see if my house was there. Sure enough, my house was there. I decided to walk inside. It was a little spooky seeing my house in the game, but I was too interested to stop. If I knew what was about to happen, I would have stopped right there and broke the Xbox in half. Suddenly, the song Lullaby of a Dead Man by Treyarch Sound, the song used in the Nazi Zombies map Verupt, started playing. Again, a little creeped out, but I thought nothing of it at the time. I went upstairs to my parents' room, but the door was locked, so I threw a grenade at it, and unusually, the door broke down. I walked inside. What I saw inside made me vomit. It was my parents laying there with ice picks through their skulls and pitchforks through their stomachs. I looked behind me on the wall, and the word H-E-L-L was written on it in blood. I tried to turn my Xbox off, but it wouldn't, so like a little child, I went back to my parents' house for comfort. I got there to see my parents' house was burnt to the ground. I fell to my knees on the sidewalk and start bawling. As my head was in a puddle of tears on the sidewalk, I noticed a little engraving I hadn't seen before. It said COD with a winky face. I was thinking, could it be that the hacker set my parents' house on fire and the whole map thing was foreshadowing what would happen later on? I was so confused! I went back home even though I was scared too. And my power was out. I sat there in the dark trying to fall asleep, but just as I was about to doze off, the power turned back on, turning the Xbox and TV on and waking me up. It was on the dashboard, like nothing had ever happened. I went to my messages and I saw that Paul and Nancy 90 had sent me a message. It said, COD, winky face, much like what I saw on the sidewalk. I went to send him something back, but as I pressed send, it put me in the campaign of COD 4. I played the first mission, figuring that it was a way for the hacker to slow me down. After I played it, it took me to the map of my neighborhood. The cutscene was everyone that I knew, including myself, crowding around one of the tombstones, and it labeled R.I.P. Tyler. I thought, how could this be? My person is standing right here? I figured it could have been a storyline like that of A Christmas Carol. Then you hear planes overhead and they drop bombs all over the town. The town was now deserted, and my ghost was left. Then a man with a hood on with the name Paul and Nancy 90 over his head came over and shot my person point blank in the face. I talked to other people who had COD 4, and my experience with hackers was like no other. I reported the hacker to Microsoft a number of times, but after that whole incident, Microsoft didn't do anything, and I decided to do something myself. I tracked down his gamertag and found out his name. I had Googled him and found news articles with him. And it seems he had been electrocuted by a lightning bolt through his telephone the same night of the incident. He was probably calling to spook me even more. Karma's a bitch. Ain't it? That's Call of Duty the invite.
That's crazy.
Scary.
That might be one of the scariest things we've ever read.
He got Looney Tunes killed off screen at some point. Thank you, Brian Hot, for the fucking gift sub. Thank you.
It's so funny that you had a story about a character named Tyler, because I did come very close to reading the story Tyler the Butcher.
Oh shit!
I will say
it wasn't that good, so I did.
Tyler added like an element to me where I was like, man, this is funnier because the guy's named Tyler. Yeah.
That's a giant graveyard of graves that say R.I.P. Tyler.
Friend of the stream, Tyler. This did happen. I like that his parents get killed, then he doesn't mention it ever again.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Doesn't care.
That happens
at all.
a lot. That happens a lot in
Often do
CREEPYPASTA.
not care about people around them dying.
Can COD wink be the raid phrase? That's for when we do our Modern Warfare stream.
COD. Wink.
COD wink.
Try not to try not to talk about it. I'm sorry that happened to you, but I'm glad that D-bag hacker got what he fucking waited
Got
for.
what he fucking deserved. This is a story called Goat Jump. Old video games tend to be a source of weird shit. PC titles, obviously, but even unlicensed cartridge games were fairly easy to do on a lark, as I'm sure some people remembered firsthand and others have heard. I like to collect these weird games when I can. Most of them are just shit made by... Ooh, I'm not going to read that word. But some are funny or even creepy. Take Goat Jump. I got from a pawn shop owner that knows I buy old games. I don't know if Goat Jump is the actual name, because the original label had peeled off, and a small one was just to fix those two words. Anyway, Goat Jump is apparently an unlicensed NES game. Pop it in your NES, starts right up. No credits, no start screen, no explanation. Graphics consist of a scrolling ranch or prairie, with the player being a shittily rendered small cowboy. The goats don't really look like goats, but I guess they don't look like anything else either.
I'm back.
A makes you jump, while B doesn't do anything. Pressing start will pause the game. The screen will mostly be filled up with the words "stop" in big black letters. Pressing select will make your character stop moving, and a loud buzzing sound will play. Parentheses. Where was I? Music is low quality pseudo-western beeps. Walking into a goat causes the same buzz to emit as if you press select, and the screen switches to black with the word lose filling the screen. Game has to manually be reset from there. Gameplay consists of you jumping over goats. Your apparent reward for this is 1 point per goat, with scroll speed and goat numbers slowly increasing.
This game sounds fun as fuck.
Around the 15-minute mark, parentheses, what can I say? I'm tenacious. Things start getting strange. The music is occasionally interrupted with loud beeps of scratching tones out of sync with the music. The goat sprites begin to get varied, with color errors and such. Some are just incoherent masses of colored pixels. Your cowboy sprite kind of flips back and forth, so it looks like he's moonwalking.
That's cool.
This gets more severe, and eventually the terrain is affected too. Gray sky, brown trees, and red pixels, which I assume are supposed to be blood. By this point, the music is incoherent, screeching and beeping with no tune. Your sprite is gliding around on his back, and the goat sprites are half sunk into the terrain.
Oh no.
You come to the end of your journey around the half-hour mark, where you enter your first and only building rendered in shittily and gray brick. From there, your sprite glides into some sort of threshing machine or something, and a shitty scream plays, and you get 100,000 points.
This guy
A
hates
black
Goat Jump.
screen with "You won" pops up with a fucked up goat sprite dancing below the words.
This creepypasta author who learned to swear midway through.
Again, the game has to be manually reset. Graphical and sound glitches appear earlier or randomly in subsequent playthroughs. Goats are replaced with your large cowboy sprite laying within its back with blood on it, and occasionally missing pieces. Randomly, your cowboy is replaced with a goat, and bafflingly, a large boot. Like I said, weird. I've never found any information about Goat Jump anywhere. I assume it was just a joke or a personal project or something. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
I don't even think that's a creepypasta.
That's kind of just someone
Yeah, it was just,
describing
like,
their idea
ranting.
for a game. That was a fake AVGN review, kind of. That was like
A large boot.
And what the fuck
did
were they
read-
thinking?
I did save that one because it said Goat Jump and boot.
I like that you posted this picture.
I posted this picture. This was from the page I found it on. Was Goat Jump.
Synth radio.
All right.
Sorry for
What you
skipping
got?
you soon.
What you got cooking?
This one's called Roblox.
Oh.
Escape the house.
Holy shit.
You need Goat Jump to be playable now. Goat Jump kind of seems like a UFO 6 to me.
Yeah, it's a real UFO 6 for me. I'd really fuck with this.
All right.
Here we go.
Hi, I'm writing about a scary experience I had playing Roblox last Halloween. I was browsing the Roblox homepage like I usually do, looking for a fun new game to play during the spooky season of the year. There wasn't anything super unusual for the trending games. Themed obbies, a pumpkin tycoon game, and of course, Doors was doing well at the time.
Always is, always is.
But I soon noticed something strange. A game called Escape the House, with no likes or plays on it, right on the front page.
I gotta play
I couldn't understand why it was there. But a thought entered my head. What if a Roblox moderator put it there, knowing that it was going to be the next big thing? I'd have quite the story talking about how I saw the next big game right when it came out. A sparkle in my eye, I clicked on the game. Loading in, I was presented with what seemed to be a pretty typical escape the room type deal. My character was in a pitch black room with boarded up windows, with an eerie darkness hovering in the air. I had only a flashlight at this point, which cast only a dim circle of light wherever I pointed. A pretty promising start. After checking the door, locked obviously, I swept the room for a key, trying my best to shine my flashlight around the blocky piles of rubble and tattered furniture strewn about the room. I soon what looked like a broken down dresser.
I love.
Funny idea, I thought. What if the key is where I keep my spare? I clocked on the top left drawer, my sock drawer IRL, and funnily enough, the key was indeed there.
My sock drawer IRL.
I grabbed it into my inventory, finding it funny how the map maker and I had similar ideas of where to stash keys. Eager to progress, I opened the room's door and made my way forward into a hallway of the house. Spotting a staircase across from more boarded up windows, I figured I must be on the second story. As I walked forward, I heard a quiet skittering coming from somewhere close by. I moved to another room, what appeared to be some kind of office, and shut the door quickly. As I got my bearings, I looked around the room, realizing that it was strikingly similar to the office I was playing in right now.
The office?
No.
Looking around
That'll
through my
work.
IRL, I realized it wasn't just strikingly similar, it was exactly the same, only broken down and rotting. I
Aww.
remember the first room as my bedroom, and the room between as my hallway. I started hearing the skittering again, only I realized it wasn't in the game this time. It was in my room.
Ah!
I quickly Alt F4'd the window, scared out of my mind, and the skittering stooped. I went back to the Roblox homepage, and this mysterious game was completely gone, not even in my recently played games. I don't know how or why my house was in a Roblox game, or what the strange skittering was, but I'd never figure it out now.
It was probably a noob walking around in his room in real life.
True.
I like the idea of noob in real life.
Little noob skittering on the floor doing nefarious deeds. You asked me.
I think less fleshed out than the one you just read, but similar concept.
Yeah, kinda.
There are 5 base creepypasta concepts used for anything involving a video game, and it's like Mad Libs.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Creepypasta is
awesome.
very Mad Libs.
I love it.
that. I love that Noel had the tutorial genre because that one's a
Tutorial
really
genre
common
is so
creepypasta.
common. We
that's
haven't ever
like,
represented it.
tutorial.
Yeah.
We never have done a tutorial one.
Speaking of Noel,
Speaking of Noel,
Oh, is it my turn?
yeah,
it's
it's
your
your turn.
turn. What
What
you
you
got
got?
cooking?
Hell yeah! I'm gonna go pee.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, yeah, I'll do Kira the Killer Werewolf.
Okay.
14-year-old named Kira. She loved creepypasta and hated her bullies to death and wished to be a werewolf. She would do anything for her friends, even if it kills her. One day, her parents sent her to Camp Emerson and her bullies were there. So one of the bullies told to go to the woods to find a necklace with a wolf pendant. So she got it, and told that they want to talk alone with her. She went to do something, and their plan was going to a waterfall and push her and see her die. The cabin went for a hike to the waterfall, and the bullies pushed her and, "Die, you low-life loser!"
Oh
Then the
my
counselor
God.
called the police, and the bullies were arrested for murdery. Her death was reported on the news, but she faked her death somehow. She turned into a shadow magic werewolf, and she even had an elven saber in her hand. The bullies screamed, and she said, "You killed me, but now I'll kill you." There was screaming for a moment, and she laughed creepy and said, "You're next, Victoria, to die." She killed everyone in Camp Emerson, and if any bully messes with her, they get killed. For her second mission was to kill the Loud Sister's brother Lincoln. She used her shadow magic and got into the fence and crawled into Lincoln's room, and he screamed help and said in a creepy voice, "You're too late. No one will save you."
Is that it?
That's it.
That's awesome.
It does have an
but
image. It has an image to go with
That's
it.
just something that's
that's
like
a wish
kid
fulfillment.
wrote.
That's a wish fulfillment creepypasta
Yeah.
by somebody.
The
who
image
got
is
bullied.
awesome.
Oh
The image is
man.
good.
This is labeled "You killed me." ...
Oh boy.
This is illegible in red.
It's
It's
not very
completely legible
legible.
in red.
It's not very legible. Not in red.
It's clearly a wolf with a knife. You can tell there's
Hold
a
on,
pile
hold
of
on,
blood
hold
there.
on.
Is that a tail? Question mark. I hope Kira the killer werewolf is doing good for herself wherever she is. True. High key. Yeah, there she is.
I think that one. What a charming one.
True.
What a charming creepypasta Kira the killer werewolf is. All right, Noel.
All right, Noel.
We took a
That was
little
a great
break for
filler
you.
one,
We took
too.
a little break for you. It was the perfect amount of time. What you got for us?
All right, this one is Lucky Burger.
Oh! They better not forget the dip.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget.
Oh, you know what kind of dip they got. You know what rings they got too.
Yeah, Dip, don't forget those thing rings. Don't forget the Mortician milkshake, and please don't forget my Pugsley Nugs.
Bun, not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yup.
hear it. Let's hear it.
There's a local restaurant in my town called Lucky Burger. I know you're probably gonna look the place up after you read this story, but I assure you, you will find nothing about it.
Aw.
They don't have a website, social media, Wikipedia article, anything.
This shit a lot like the Cousin It Dip, actually.
You'd only know about it if you lived in my town.
What's it
So
called?
what's so special
What
about
burger?
Lucky Burger?
Lucky Burger. Okay.
Well, every time you pass by it, you'll see that the parking lot is almost completely full, with
Oh.
only 1 or 2 spots available. But no matter how many people you ask, they'll say they've never been to the place. One day, I decided to go to Lucky Burger. I wanted to know what was wrong with this place. I drove into the parking lot with my car and I couldn't find any empty spots in sight first. It took me almost 10 minutes to find a place to park. I finally parked my car and got out of it. I looked at the building. At first glance, you'd probably think that it's a warehouse. Its walls were a dull gray, with no windows, and the only decoration being a restaurant logo. A burger with 2 eyes and a top hat. I walked in and saw that the inside was just as boring as the outside. The same gray walls, floors, and ceiling. The only thing inside the room were foldable tables and chairs. This place must have had a really low budget. And even though the parking lot was full, nobody was in the room.
They're all working there.
At the back of the room was a door with a sign above it that said, Kitchen. I walked to the door. I could hear muffled sounds through the door, but I couldn't make out what it was. Suddenly, a man who looked to be about in his 60s came out of the door, immediately closing it after. Sorry about the wait, he said. The name's Joe. I'll be your waiter. Now take a seat, any seat. I sat down at one of the foldable tables near the kitchen. Joe walked over to me and said, What can I get for you for a drink? Water, I guess, I replied. Nice choice. And a meal? A burger.
Oh,
This place was called Lucky Burger, and it wasn't like I had a menu.
This is an energetic 60-year-old man.
Great choice. I'll be back with your food in a minute. Joe walked back into the kitchen, leaving me at my seat. He came back with my food and drink only 5 minutes later. I was surprised the waiting time was so short. I thought that maybe they pre-made their food. One burger and water coming right up, Joe said.
he's so excited.
Thanks, I replied as he put the plate on the table. You're very welcome. Joe walked back into the kitchen again. I took a sip of my water and picked up the burger. I took a bite of it and froze. This might have been the best burger I've had in a while. It was so juicy and delectable, it only took me 2 minutes to finish it. A couple minutes later, Joe came back. So how was the food? He asked. It's delicious, I replied. How come you barely get any customers? Joe looked confused. We get loads of customers. Don't you see the parking lot? But there's nobody here. They're just not in this room. Then what room are they in? Joe shook his head. Here's the bill. I paid and left Lucky Burger. As I was walking to my car, I noticed something odd. The cars in the lot looked rusty, as if they'd been rotting here for a while.
Oh, no.
That's when I realized that these were the exact same cars that had been here every day. That's when I pieced together the truth about this restaurant. They were kidnapping customers and leaving their cars to rust in the parking lot. I looked at my car thinking, could my car become another one of the rusted cars here? I looked behind me and saw Joe at the door smiling and waving at me. I looked back and ran to my car. When I opened the car door, I saw a man wearing a ski mask and holding a baseball bat in my car. He hit me in the head with a bat and I blacked out.
No.
I woke up inside of a small room, colored the same dull gray as Lucky Burger. There was a door inside that I tried to open, but it was locked. I sat down on the ground thinking, well, I guess this is how I die. I'm not sure how long I've been in this room, but it feels like a couple of days. If I don't get murdered by Joe or Ski Mask Guy or whoever runs Lucky Burger,
Ski Mask Guy.
I'll probably die of starvation or dehydration. My phone was still in my pocket though, because I guess they didn't think to search. I guess they didn't think to search my pockets. I was able to connect to the Lucky Burger Wi-Fi because there was no password. There was no password. And it's from there I'm writing this last plea for help. If my town's local police are reading this, please investigate Lucky Burger. If not to save me, then to save anyone else who falls into this trap.
Fucking cops. You wrote a creepypasta instead?
You can't call someone over Wi-Fi.
I have
You can only post on the wiki.
thing to note. This is a tragic story, and I looked it up just to find out where the town is.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky Burger is in Cambodia.
Oh, no!
If you want to see where this happened, you can go to the Lucky Mall on the 2nd floor in Siem Reap, Cambodia.
Damn.
It's pretty close to the airport, actually.
I guess it's
That's
You're
kind
there.
of convenient. That's probably how they get so many customers.
Damn, dude. Burger with rice?
Burger with
alright.
water? Actually, can I get mad a little bit? I ordered
Yeah.
the fucking I ordered the meal, the Addams Family meal from Burger King, and I did get the Wednesday burger with the purple bun, and I did get my Things rings, and I did get my Morticia milkshake. But they didn't give me any fucking cousin it dip for the Things rings. It was just rings, no thing on it. Are you serious?
Wait, they give you normal rings?
It was Things rings,
It was
but there was
Things
no
rings,
cousin
but
it
they're
dip.
normal rings.
I have been
They are-
having... So,
Did you ask for it specifically?
I know that...
No, I thought it would be included in the Addams
No,
Family
it's
bundle
a side
meal.
thing. It's a side thing.
I
The bundle
know,
is
yeah,
just
you have
free.
to, like, ask for it. I know that Tyler and Boot and Amy have all managed to get it.
Those are your same
is
order,
it
but with the
wrong of me
Gomez
to
Bros.
assume that in the Addams Family meal they would include the fucking cousin it dip with everyone else?
Hello.
No, it's because it's a whole, like, wide
Well,
thing.
Buff, Werewolf, Dragon, Fireman. You are many things. You are so many things. I'm gonna start this story.
You should have picked.
This one is in a similar vein to one that Boot read already. So we kind of have a theme tonight.
Oh shit!
Okay, let's see. Is this about Goat Jump 2?
No, this is not Go Jump 2. This is Kirby Beta.
Oh, shit!
When I was young, I wasn't just raised by my parents or my brother or even my teachers. I was raised by a character. A character that didn't even exist, not in real life anyways. He was named Kirby. Kirby and his games were my favorite thing in the world. I wasn't allowed to go on the internet, so I didn't have much else to do but play my Kirby games, and I had all of them. Kirby Superstar was my favorite, even though it was pretty old when I started playing it. I just thought Kirby was the perfect character, and the way he smiled through everything was an inspiration to me. Especially when I was in that horrible place called school, full of bullies and homework, so I sometimes thought of myself as Kirby in a way. Nothing too strange for a kid, I guess, but now I'm old and gray, married with kids of my own, and Kirby's just a memory. That was, till I went to my local Goodwill to get some more clothes for my wife, and found something interesting while hunting for used video games. I found something that was quite the surprise. It was a cartridge for the Nintendo 3DS, and on it, in Sharpie, was Kirby Beta. Sorry, I saw in chat at least half these creepypastas were written by 11th graders on their 3rd gen iCant touchstring study hall. That's why they're awesome. I was so excited I almost jumped up in the air and cheered. I remember Kirby. I remember how he gave me strength once, and I was gonna take a trip down memory lane as soon as I got home. I popped that game into my 3DS XL as soon as I was home, and things immediately got weird. The opening cutscene was glitchy, but it was a beta, so I wasn't that worried. It was weird, though. I saw Kirby frowning. He only did that on the American box art for Kirby games, and I didn't consider those to be the real Kirby. They were a different Kirby to me. But then the game started, and there I was on Green Greens, but it wasn't called Green Greens. It was called Red Reds, and it looked like Green Greens, but it was red instead of green. However, that was the only change, and I had a great time playing through the levels, fighting Waddle Dees and getting powers, right up until I reached Wispy Woods. But he was different. He screamed, and looked angry instead of his normal neutral expression. And instead of apples falling, it was skulls. Skulls of Kirby's. I didn't have a power because I was hit by a Gordo before entering the boss fight, so I had to inhale the skulls and shoot them at Wispy Woods, who screamed in anguish every time he was hit, but I didn't care about that. I cared about Kirby. I saw a small pixelated tear come from his eye every time he had to inhale one of the skulls, even though I had to do it to beat the boss. It felt wrong. "I'm sorry, Kirby," I said, as I made him inhale one more Kirby skull and shoot it at Wispy Woods,
I'm so scared right
defeating
now.
him. But Kirby didn't
scared.
respond. He didn't even dance when beating the level. He turned to face me, and then it immediately entered the next level. Evil Island. This is where things finally got weird.
Oh my god.
Evil Island? Evil Island?
What?
Kirby
Evil
goes
Island.
to level 2, Evil Island.
You remember,
Famous Kirby stands?
Yeah, it's like Ice Cream Island, and he goes to like some other islands and shit. He's always going to islands. This is
He never goes
This-
to islands.
the enemies weren't all normal Kirby enemies anymore. Some were blurry pictures of what looked like scary faces. I inhaled one and swallowed it, and instead of getting a power, Kirby almost threw up. "Kirby, I'm sorry," I said. You're like, it's fucking scary.
I like this one a lot. I think it's scary.
Let me drink water.
Okay.
But this time, Kirby looked at me and talked back. "Ted, why are you doing this?" That was my name. Kirby said my name. "I bought this game from a Goodwill and I was excited to play it," I said. Kirby shook his head. "That isn't good enough, Ted. I've been trapped here for years, watching my fellow Kirbys die. Those skulls, those were what was left of them." I almost started to cry. "Who's doing this?" I see Kirby with voice acting in chat. Kirby looked at the ground. "You'll find out soon enough," he said. I'm sorry, a note of sadness in his voice. "You'll find out soon enough." And his voice wasn't like what I expected it to sound like. It wasn't cartoonish like it was in Super Smash Bros. It was like a human being's voice. I felt like Kirby was real. Anyway, I played through the level as normal, but I tried to be nicer to Kirby. I didn't inhale any of the weird enemies, and I did a good job at avoiding damage, all until I reached the boss. I was expecting another classic Kirby boss like Kracko, or even Bonkers, but that wasn't what I got. Instead, it was my me, in 3D, from the 3DS. And I didn't have control. Kirby fought my me on his own, but not like Kirby normally fights. Instead of sucking him up, or using his abilities, he hit it with his bare fists, bruising it and making it bleed. My me boss didn't even really do anything, and with every hit Kirby delivered, I almost felt like he was hurting me. "I don't want to do this, Ted," Kirby said, as he lifted his arms up and slammed it on my me's head, crushing it like a watermelon. I screamed as I suddenly got a horrible migraine. It's okay, Kirby," I whispered, in pain. I knew I had to keep playing. Kirby needed to be freed, and I felt like if I stopped things, they'd only get worse. The next level was more of the same in a way. It was called Killer Castle. The weird enemies from the last level were still there, but they were higher resolution. But there were also more real Kirby enemies, ones I recognized. There were, as I expected now, changes. Sir Kibble was there, and he spoke much like Kirby, but he had worse things to say. He said my zip code out loud, and then he said, "Ted, give up this pathetic quest, and we'll spare your children. If you continue assisting this pink devil, we'll have to resort to drastic measures."
Oh my god.
I ignored him, even if he knew where I lived. What was just a little Sir Kibble going to do? I had to do something here, and playing Kirby was the only way to pull it off. I played through the level and got to the boss. Before the boss, Sir Kibble walked out. "I warned you, Ted," he said. "I warned you." Then Mii's of my kids came out. Mii's I didn't remember making. "No! Kirby! We can't do this!" I yelled. Kirby looked right at me. "This isn't about you, Ted. This is about me, too. I've been here for years, and I have to get out!" And then without my control, Kirby simply inhaled my kids' Mii's and swallowed. In the blink of an eye, they were gone. Then my iPhone rang and I picked it up. "Is this Mr. Ted?" said my teacher of my kids. "Yes," I said. "We have bad news. Your kids both disappeared in the middle of class. 1 second they were standing in their chairs. The next minute,
Oh boy.
they were gone. Without a trace." "No! Kirby! You fucking piece of shit!" I screamed and threw my phone across the room, breaking it. "I'm sorry, Ted, but I need to get out. I didn't know it would do that. It isn't like killing your me killed you." He was right. I couldn't have known, and he couldn't have either. I sat back down with the 3DS and kept playing, forgiving Kirby for what he did. I would have done the same thing if I was him. The next level was called Blood Beach.
Jesus Christ!
What?
Jesus Christ!
Blood Beach.
Boy.
There's so many levels in Kirby!
It was about what you'd expect. A beach with lots of blood everywhere. At this point, it didn't faze me, but maybe that was just because I was in shock from my kids being gone now. If this happened any other day, I would be terrified. But this wasn't any other day. Sir Kibble showed up again, that fucking bastard. Ted. Or should I say your full name? Ed Richards. You should have stopped long ago. Why are you doing this? Why are you terrorizing us? I laughed. Me? Terrorizing you? You killed my kids, you sick bastard! I didn't kill them. Perhaps you should look at the pink man who's truly responsible. Kirby looked at me. "Don't listen to him," he said. "We're so close to the end of this. You just need to stay strong." Sir Kibble laughed out loud. "Do you believe this thing?" "You know, he..." But before Sir Kibble could finish talking, Kirby swallowed him up and gained the cut power. I played through the level like I was in a haze or something, like I was almost becoming one with Kirby. My eyes glazed over, and I just strolled through Blood Beach, cutting the enemies in half like they were nothing, barely paying attention to the realistic blood coming from them, the scary face enemies that were starting to look like my face in real life but covered in blood and cut up, and even worse, the game wasn't even that fun. Every ability I got was an instant kill that was too realistic for comfort, but with my kids disappeared, now I knew this was just the surface of how realistic this game really was. It didn't take long to get to the boss. I felt dull surprise, as it was another me, but this time it was my wife. Sir Kibble came out again, undying, always coming back no matter what Kirby does to him. Ted, you have one last chance. Turn the game off. You don't know what you're doing. Spare your wife this fate. She doesn't deserve it. I'm getting haunted, but the game not being fun is the worst part.
It's not even fun.
My kids disappeared, but fuck.
Dude, this game isn't even fun.
Spare your wife this fate. She doesn't deserve it. Then Kirby just swallowed him again. Watching this happen put a spark back into me that I had lost. Wait! I said. Kirby, please! Don't do this! We can figure out another way! I stuttered, looking at the me of my wife standing there, innocently. Ed, I need to get the fuck out of here, Kirby said. Kirby, you know you're just a video game character. Love it or hate it, you know you belong in there, right? But then Kirby just looked at me and gave me an evil grin. I never had seen Kirby's teeth before, now that I think about it. But now that I have, I never want to see them again. They were sharp and covered with blood.
Oh no.
Just a video game character? Ted, if only you knew the truth. And then he threw a cut attack at my wife, and she blew up into a geyser of blood. I screamed and started crying. No, 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 no! I said, this isn't happening! This isn't happening! It is happening, Ted, Kirby said. You're in my world now. I tried to throw that damn 3DS across the room just like I did with my phone, but I noticed my skin was attached to it, like I was a part of the 3DS. My favorite toy had turned into a torture. So I kept playing. Even as we got to the last level, it was just called The End. But during the title card, the game hung, and for one frame, it changed to The End of Your Life before going to gameplay.
Read fast.
This level wasn't like any of the other levels so far. It wasn't covered in blood and had no enemies at all. It was black and gray and almost sad. Even its music was sad as it played the song A Farewell to Kirby from Kirby Star Allies on loop the whole time, but slowed down, making it even sadder than it already was. There were no platforms or anything. It was kind of like Super Smash Bros. Final Destination. Fitting, because it was my final destination. I simply walked Kirby to the right of the screen till I reached the door. I walked through it and my world changed forever. This whole time I thought I was controlling Kirby. My favorite character, that lovable guy who's always fighting King Dedede. But to my dismay, in this room which was all black but with bloodstains everywhere, Kirby as I know him was chained up in the middle, spikes impaled through his hands and his feet. The chains went into each corner of the room. I was so horrified I would have dropped my 3DS if it wasn't stuck to my hands. The Kirby I played as, the false Kirby, who I'll call Furby for the rest of this account, looked at me, with his sharp teeth gleaming. Now that you can't get away from me, look what I did to your hero, Ted. Look at him struggle. I couldn't look away, but that spark came back as I looked at Kirby. He was bleeding and in pain, but he still had that classic Kirby smile, that smile I loved, that smile that inspired me when I was a kid. If he could do that with spikes, sorry, every time I see anyone talking about any specifics, it makes me laugh. He had to redeem Kirby at the end. If he could do that with spikes through his innocent hands, I could do it too. I smiled a smile, even as my hands burned as they became more and more attached to my 3DS. Furby looked at me with sheer hatred in his eyes. What are you doing, Ted? You have nothing to smile about. Behold. A shadow appeared behind Furby, and out came two small figures, ball-shaped, much like Kirby. But they weren't Kirby. They were Lolo and Lala?
Oh my god.
That's right, it's us, Lolo and Lala, they said. Wait, what the hell? What's going on here? I said. Lolo and Lala smirked, and Furby started talking right to me. I'm surprised you didn't guess this already. But a HAL Laboratory employee made this game single-handedly, because he hated Kirby. He hated that pink ball's simple gameplay. He liked puzzles. And worse, he was a Satanist. So he summoned a demon and stole Kirby's soul from the newest Kirby game and put it here to be tortured forever. Hoping one day it would let Lolo and Lala become the popular HAL characters again. But it didn't work. Kirby's will is too strong. So we decided to try something else. Lolo and Lala spoke up. We lured in Kirby's biggest fan. Someone who would play this game no matter what happened, no matter how disturbing it got. And then, we would take them over, control them, so they would make the next Lolo and Lala game in real life. You happen to be a perfect candidate. And now that you don't have that pesky family weighing you down, well... But those skulls! Kirby, you seem sad about them, I said. Furby smirked an evil smirk. I was pretending. Those were all of Kirby's, the real Kirby's, extra lives. Now they're gone. He's on to his last one. I was so mad. First he kills my family, then he lies? I hated Furby more than ever. I started thinking about the Bible. I needed a miracle to stop these devils. Then Sir Kibble came in and threw a cut attack at Furby. Furby was off guard and was cut into pieces, instantly dying on the floor without a sound. Lolo and Lala looked at Sir Kibble with anger in their hearts. Sir Kibble took off his helmet and revealed something. A halo. He wasn't a normal Kirby enemy. He was an angel, fighting back the forces of darkness within this game cartridge.
What?
I'll never let you destroy Kirby like this, he said, glowing with white light everywhere. But Lolo and Lala just laughed. You're nothing. You thought that was my only minion? How about you meet King Dedede? Or what used to be King Dedede. King Dedede came in from the left part of the screen, but he looked different. He had black eyes and a red beak and devil horns. A pentagram was on his hat. I realized this wasn't King Dedede anymore. This was King 666. He raised his evil hammer and tried to crush Sir Kibble, but Sir Kibble turned on the 3D on my 3DS and dodged it by going out of the DS and back in. Then he cut King 666 in half, just like he killed Furby. Lolo and Lala looked so mad, I thought they might do something bad, but they didn't have time. It's over, Lolo and Lala, said Sir Kibble. You turned Kirby's dreamland into Kirby's nightmare land, and now you have to die. No! They screamed. We have to get out. You can't kill us! No! But it was too late for them. Sir Kibble cut them down and they were no more, just two balls cut in half. It's okay, Ted, Sir Kibble said, looking at me. The nightmare's over. You can forget this land. Kirby's soul will be restored, and you'll see him in a new game soon. My hands finally were free from the DS, so I instantly threw it to the ground and stomped on it over and over again until it was a lot of broken pieces of plastic all over the ground. I didn't want to think about Kirby for a long, long time. Epilogue. Without my family... Without my family, I decided to do the only thing that made sense, which was get a job at HAL Labs. I moved to Japan to do this. For some reason, even though I wanted to avoid Kirby, I just couldn't stay away for long. But working at HAL Labs was hard, because Kirby was everywhere. You couldn't get away from him. My childhood hero had become my adulthood enemy. When I saw him, I just felt so mad for what he did to my family, even though I knew that was Furby and not Kirby. So I started working on something. A new game. About two characters Hal turned into mere Kirby enemies. Two characters Hal had forgotten. Lolo and Lala.
Oh shit.
In the day, I would work on my game. And at night, I would just stare into the mirror. Stare at my face.
Dude, they won.
Aged and changed after my Kirby Beta experience. Staring at my own eyes. One of them was pink. And one of them was blue. Just like Lolo and Lala. And my eyes used to be brown. This was my new life.
Is that the end?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's crazy. Ted Richards for next Qweave Rumble, please.
What would he be? Just like
And
Nigh?
what? The only thing we know about him is he has one blue eye and one pink. That's the only descriptor we have.
Okay,
But that was kind of awesome.
That was kind
It was
of
kind of
awesome.
awesome.
You fell asleep.
We
Can I
fell
repeat
asleep.
the whole thing? Yeah, hold on.
No! I love a long one. I think of Blood Whistle like every
When I
single
was
day.
young, I wasn't just raised by my parents or my
No.
older brother. Okay.
No.
The only Lolo creepypasta. There are a lot of creepypastas that make a random video game character the villain.
I respect seeing Lolo. I appreciate that a lot.
Richard's the goat.
I don't know if he's the GOAT. I think he lost. I think he lost to Lolo.
He
Lala.
didn't really do anything. He kind of just played a Kirby game and then
Wait,
got
are Lolo,
possessed.
Lala, Kirby characters his kids? They're Kirby characters.
Aren't
They're the
the-
pink and blue blob from Kirby.
Are they?
Yeah,
Do I need to look up a picture of Lolo and Lala?
Castle Lolo is literally like my favorite game on the NES. Please
Hold
look
on.
them
I'll
up.
look up. I'll look up Lolo and Lala because they're a lot funnier now that I actually look at a picture of them.
They're mini bosses in Kirby Superstar.
They look like this. They look like this.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
Ah! They are actually awesome. You're right.
They're in love. I think.
That's Story Qweave. I never have the energy for big ones.
I love reading big ones because my favorite reading experience remains Blood Whistle after all this
Yeah.
time. I think Blood Whistle is the most fun I've ever had reading a story. And I'm always searching for that next, like, Blood Whistle, like, high, I think.
This was
I
pretty
think
good.
that's fair.
Speaking of pretty good, hey Synth.
Oh, yeah, Synth, it's your turn now.
Hell
It's your
yeah.
turn. You have a story?
All right, I have a couple of shorter ones.
Okay.
Alrighty.
This first one is Phineas and Ferb Asylum Theory.
Oh my god.
I love theory creepypastas, too. They're one of my favorites.
Let's hear it.
Do you know the children's show Phineas and Ferb?
I
Yeah,
don't.
it's not actually as peaceful as you think it is. You see, the story revolves around three main characters: Phineas, Ferb, and Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Phineas
Okay.
and Ferb actually died a long time ago when they
Aw.
got into a bike accident.
Damn it.
Oh my god.
But Candace's mind couldn't comprehend that. So in her mind, they were still alive. And after many years of telling her parents they were in the building, that they were building stuff that was impossible to build. Phineas and Ferb used to build stuff in their
That was
garage
the end.
with their dad, such as birdhouses. Her parents sent her to the mental hospital to have her checked on, and they said she could take some medicine and stay inside for a while. She accidentally overdosed on the medicine,
Oh,
making
man.
her crazier and causing her to see new illusions.
Illusions is a really funny thing to say for, like, hallucinating your brothers.
This is why Perry, Phineas and Ferb's pet dog, but in Candace's mind, a secret agent platypus, exists, and why the talking zebra is in some episodes. Eventually, Candace's parents couldn't put up with her, so they sent her to the mental hospital, where she spent the rest of her life in a padded cell thinking about Phineas and Ferb, and this is why summer never ends in the show.
Oh shit. I never thought
Also, Phineas and Phineas and Ferb's grandparents, which are shown in almost every episode that has the zebra in it, are not actually her grandparents. They are mental hospital doctors who check on her in her cell.
Okay, that makes sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense.
That's the end.
Okay. Like
That's
the
great.
last minute, like, actually, by the way, this person, you're not gonna believe what they are in videos in Ferb. I think that's a good one.
Okay.
I love
and then-
theories. I love theories. I always think of the Ed and Eddie theory.
The SpongeBob theory. I forgot about the Ed and Eddie
SpongeBob.
theory. Ed and Eddie theory is probably my
They're
favorite
all
one.
dead kids from all time periods,
From
and they're
everyone's
in
from a different time
purgatory,
period.
and purgatory is a neighborhood in the suburbs. That's why Eddie's like a 40s shuckster, and Ed's a fucking idiot.
You said you had multiple short ones?
Yes.
Yeah, what else we
this
got?
next
Let's hear it.
one is The End is Nigh, the 15-part epic horror story.
Well, that sounds really long!
Holy fuck.
Chapter 1. Wake up. All right. Well, that was The End Is Nigh, the 50-part epic horror story. I hope nobody missed any of that.
Yeah, it was 15 parts. It was pretty long.
That ending blew my fucking mind.
I
Yeah,
think just
really
on a conceptual
spectacular
level,
finale.
us losing our Wi-Fi connection entirely after a story called "The End Is Nigh," 15 parts, is there's something very funny about that. Yippee! Another ads. Apparently, Seth is addicted to chocolate. I've been fucking up candy corn.
Do people hate the little pumpkin-shaped
Why?
candy corn?
Why did you call me out?
You weren't answering. No one was fucking talking. I was
You
trying to get the
said
conversation
chat!
going.
You said chat!
Synth, you have chat open too.
It's true. You're in here.
Oh my
We all do.
god.
Noel had a response. Noel was talking. Noel was talking about the candy corn pumpkins, which I think
Yeah.
are. So, what's your opinion on those, Noel?
I like them.
As someone who's been going through candy corn a lot, it's the 3 mix. There's the little chocolate ones, the normal candy corns, and the pumpkins. The chocolate ones are by far the worst. No question. No contest. No one will ever argue with that. The pumpkins are good, little much.
I like
think.
the chocolate candy corns the most, so
Really?
you can fuck
I
right off
don't
with
even
that
know.
bullshit.
I can't conjure the chocolate candy corn in my head.
It's like an full orange candy corn, brown bottom. It's just because they don't have like the. So for me, the benefit of candy corn, aside from just being like raw sugar,
Oh.
is that it's a textural experience.
Yeah. For sure.
I think it's okay to be an irate customer or a robot, which I'm pretty sure is what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't ever think it's okay to be an irate customer to like a person who's just like sitting in a cubicle.
I'm not mad at the person who's helping me. I'm mad at the service itself. That's
No, yeah,
literally it.
I saw
I'm
the
like-
chat message. It's okay to be an irate customer, and it's like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, don't worry. I've worked customer service in my life enough to understand to not be a fucking dick in like very specific ways. But like, there are ways you can be a dick as a customer where I feel if you're like an employee, no one is going to be that mad at you. You just have to really emphasize that you're not mad at the person you're talking to. It's like, yeah, it's kind of weird that this happens. Yeah, there's business dick. It's
Business
called
dick, yeah,
business
yeah.
dick. It's called business dick. It's like
That's real shit.
and it's the only way to get anyone to listen to you. Like, the guy I was talking to this time, if it was a guy and not a bot, which who knows, was, like, only telling me to upgrade our service to a level of service that doesn't exist in our area until I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a bit of a business dick now. And then I got our stuff reset, and we'll hopefully be able to hang on for the rest of our little stories, of which we have a few. Synth read us that beautiful tale
Yeah.
that we all know and love and remember so deeply and fondly. It was a scary lot, probably the scariest story of the night, actually. And that means it's Boo's turn now. For our next
It's my
one.
turn. Here's what Miyamoto was scared of.
I've been asking myself that for a while.
Everyone wants to know. Now, before I say anything, I swear to you that this is all real. I have proof. I'm gonna say I have no proof. I'm gonna say why, but just know every single thing I say is honest. One of my favorite things is cut content in retro video games.
Me too!
Luigi in Mario 64, the Triforce in Ocarina of Time, you know. I spent hours of my free time scrolling the cutting room floor wiki just to see games that never were. And a lot of the time were so much cooler. So of course, whenever I go to a flea market or something and I see an unmarked cartridge, I always pick it up just in case it's a lost version full of developer content. Usually I get nothing at all. But one day, I thought my luck had changed, had turned around. Maybe it did, but I'd say it didn't. It was at a flea market outside the city. They had a lot of old imported goods and antiques, and they had a big box of video games, too. The usual staples, Duck Hunt and Mario, and a ton of sports games that some teenager got bored of faster than his family expected him to. But
Classic.
mixed in with everything, I found a blank N64 cartridge. It was one of the stranger ones I've seen. It was gray, like a normal N64 cartridge, but there was no game label on it, which usually means some kid peeled it off. But instead, this one had a sticker with numbers and letters on it. Like it was made with a label maker.
Of course I bought it, and it was a steal, only $10, and I couldn't wait to get home. It had to be a developer cartridge of some kind, and I couldn't stop thinking about what it could be. When I plugged it into my Nintendo 64, connected my HDMI adapter, and started streaming to my friends. In plain white text on a pure black background, it said Kong 64 V8.4.1 and enter. I hit a gold mine. I barely managed to contain my excitement and hit start to get brought right through to Donkey Kong's treehouse. No title screen or menu yet, but the game looked just about finished. I played a little frustratedly because aside from that, there didn't seem to be anything changed. At least until Jungle Japes. I was starting to think this cartridge was a bust, but when I got enough coins to get the coconut gun from Funky Kong, I had to wipe my eyes to make sure I was seeing things right. Instead of his classic tree trunk coconut gun, Donkey Kong seemed to be holding a double-barreled shotgun.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
I was in awe. Anyone who knows anything about Donkey Kong knows that at some point he had a double-barreled shotgun until Miyamoto was so disgusted by it that he demanded to take it out. So of course, I started trying it out. When I shot at the buzzers, nothing changed. They fell from the sky like normal with the same sound effect. But when I shot the beavers, there was something strange. They didn't just fall down. Instead, they flailed and bent across the ground. I thought it must have been a ragdoll animation, but it looked like they were struggling to crawl around. There were no ammo boxes in the level, so I went back to Funky's. And for some reason, DK still had his shotgun out. Is this a bug? I thought. So I pressed the B button to see what would happen. And I always regret it. I don't know what I expected, but when Donkey Kong shot his gun, the whole top half of Funky's model exploded into a red mist. I had to lean back in my chair. It wasn't that realistic, but it was uncomfortably detailed. Funky's blood coated his shot and slowly dripped down the walls. It was almost too good to be just a texture. Even Funky was nearly too much for me. You could see bits of his bloody bones and ribs reaching from his distorted model. I was just a teen, so I thought this was a little cool. I imagine that this is what must have made Miyamoto make that disgusted face.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if the devs had any more twisted stuff like this. So I went over to the cage where they keep Diddy Kong.
The cage where they keep Diddy Kong.
As I walked towards the gate, he ran away from me, backing into the corner like he was scared. I pulled up my coconut gun and lined him in the cursors of the crosshairs, behind the bars, when suddenly, I started hearing his voice acting. He was begging me, DK, no, please! Please, DK! No! I'm begging you, please!
Oh my god!
Usually, voice
Great
acting
Diddy.
doesn't get to me, but it felt so real. Like, when it was being recorded, the actor was truly horrified. Like, they were screaming through tears. My friends kept asking me what was up in the chat, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. It was just a game, but I felt like I was doing something evil. I dropped the controller, and I don't know if I hit the button, or Donkey Kong did it, but the gun fired, and all that was left of Diddy was that same red splotch of texture behind him. I threw up in my mouth. I tried to hit pause and quit, but the game had taken my controls away. Donkey Kong slowly turned towards the camera and raised the gun to the screen. I swear for a moment I saw pure evil in his eyes, and I was just frozen in place. The most deafening sound I've ever heard blasted from my computer, and my monitor exploded into shards of broken glass, knocking me out of my seat. My friends started texting me, dude, what the fuck? Are you okay? I don't know what was left on the screen when my monitor broke, but my friends told me it was disgusting, and nothing more. And apparently, it was enough to get me banned on Twitch, and the VOD deleted.
Ah, I've been there.
When I tried to take the cartridge out of the N64, that was fried too. So that's why I have no proof. Nothing but a blank shell, cartridge on my shelf that I can only think of, why would they ever show this to Miyamoto? If you're ever buying video games to look for secrets, don't look too hard. You might not like what you find.
That was kind of beautiful.
I think that one's awesome.
You might not like what you find.
What does that mean?
We might see Diddy Kong and he's inside of his cage.
You might
He's
play a
being
game and
killed.
Diddy Kong will be in a cage and you
Diddy
shoot him
Kong's
in
in
the
his
head.
cage and he's being murdered, and it's a horrible thing. Overall, not something you want to see. I wouldn't want to see that.
I wouldn't want to see that either. I'm glad that fucker got banned. I'm coming out of my cage and I'm feeling just fine.
I'm coming out of my cage and I'm feeling just fine. Noel.
Yes.
You finally got to learn the origin
Are
of
we all?
Miyamoto's disgusted face.
That's what he saw.
He saw that.
No dev cards are supposed to do that after you test them.
Are we all on our last one or something?
No, I have a couple.
Okay. All right. Noel.
I've got one or two more, but I think I'm gonna just do this next one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do one more too.
All right. iCarly, banned last episode.
Fucking
Titled.
Hold on, let me find a good video.
I can't find Carly. In the iCarly format with the lowercase I
I
can't find Carly. Like
I can't.
iPhone, it's like that. All right. I loved that show, iCarly.
Great start.
I remember
great
watching
start
my
for
first
me.
episode back in 2006. I was only 8 when I first watched the pilot. Kind of sad that it ended. Anyway, on
Should've
November
gone
21st,
forever.
2012, right before Thanksgiving, I had to stay home from school that day. So I was bored and started browsing the internet to find the full version of the episode I Get Pranky. I came across an episode on an illegal download website entitled I Can't Find Carly. I was puzzled. I haven't seen this one before. I just clicked on it, and the description said, an unaired episode that was rejected airing on every station of TV, even Adult Swim. I just want to share it with you guys. Enjoy. I clicked on the episode to watch, and I was curious, but excited and nervous. It was at first a completely blank white screen with what sounded like Carly's screams barely audible, though. Ignoring it, I just continued to watch the episode.
And I'm talking
There was
about
Carly, Sam, Freddy, and Gibby. Just like normal, they were in Carly's room singing Baby Will You Take Me. Sam surprisingly jumps on Freddy kissing him and Gibby having his shirt off dancing like a buffoon. The episode has frames repeating themselves. And the audio was never right, always too loud or too low. Like going from loud to barely audible.
yeah.
Carly was putting on her
get it.
jacket saying, I gotta pick up some Chinese food for dinner. Stay here, don't leave. She was smiling as she said it. KCA and a few, said Sammy and Gibby. I noticed something strange. There was no theme song in this episode. I was highly confused. Carly grabbed her house keys and left out the door. Spencer was making a sculpture that looked like a monkey eating an apple. I laughed a little. Then a yawn became barely audible and Carly's scream was being heard again, but that was also barely audible. Then the camera began shaking and Spencer was singing in a low-pitched voice and his eyes were blood red. Then everything went back to normal with Spencer singing in his normal voice. His eyes weren't red and the camera stopped shaking and the audio was super perfect. Freddy comes downstairs to talk to Spencer. Spencer, I think I love Sam, he says. Spencer says, oh, that's cool, without even looking at Freddy. The scene then cuts black and the scene has changed to Carly walking down an empty road with a scared look on her face. She is carrying a bag of Chinese food and she looks lost. She begins to hitchhike for a ride home. She is shivering, she is cold. A black BMW pulls up and she enters the car.
She is cold.
No comma, straight, she is shivering, she is cold.
Shivering, she is cold.
A black BMW pulls up and she enters the car saying, Bushwell Plaza, please. The car drives in the darkness and there is no audio but small screams. But this time not Carly's, but Sam's. The audio cuts and the scene cuts with it. It shows Spencer sitting on the couch. Sam is sitting on the sofa along with Freddy. Oh my gosh! Sam screams. What? Screams Sam. Carly left 5 hours ago. She isn't home! Screams Sam. I'll call her, says Gibby. I want to highlight here that I'll call her, says Gibby, is all in quotation marks. I'll call her, says Gibby, is the quote.
Did it say Scream Sam? Sam screams. Scream Sam. Was Sam
Scream
like
Sam.
talking
Yeah,
to
Sam
herself?
screams, Scream Sam, Scream Sam.
It's actually a one-woman show. She was also saying, I'll call her, says Gibby.
After about 5 minutes of silence, he says, I called 7 times. No answer.
I can't find Carly.
Spencer gets up in shock and grabs his cell to call the cops. Hello, I'd like to report an missing teenager. Sam and Freddie are seen running to Mrs. Benson's home, and all Sam, Freddie, Mrs. Benson, and Tebow are going to search for Carly.
Tebow?
The team are at the Chinese restaurant where Carly got the food from. Excuse me, did you see a girl with dark hair, a black coat, wearing blue jeans, and red Converse buy some food in here? They ask the owner. Yes, she left 4 hours ago. The search gang all ran out the store, searching the road she hitchhiked on. The audio is once again messed up and the camera is shaking. Carly's cell phone, says Sam, picking up Carly's cell. Freddie says, where's Carly? Where could she have gone? The scene cuts to Spencer at home, telling the cops what Carly was wearing and how long she'd been gone. She left at around 5:30 p.m. It's 10:30 p.m. now, says Spencer. Freddie is making a missing poster saying, help bring Carly Shay home, with Carly's info and picture on it. It then cuts to he next day with Spencer on the sofa, crying, his eyes swollen and red, and Mrs. Benson comforting him. If you have any clues of where Carly Shay could be, or if you have seen Carly Shay in the past 19 desperate missing hours, please call your local police department immediately, says the news anchor woman on television. Where could she be? Says Spencer, sobbing loudly. She will come home. I'm for sure she will, says Sam's mom.
Come home. Said Mario.
The cops are doing what they can, says Sam. The scene cuts to a forest area and an abandoned house in the forest. The camera goes inside the house and there is a short man with blonde hair. The camera goes to his face, revealing that it's Neville. I scream in terror. Next to him is Carly's dead body with stab wounds in her stomach.
Okay, I thought
she is lying in a pool of blood and her entrails are showing through her stabs. No more iCarly, says Neville, putting a bloody knife in a baggie labeled Murder Memories, along with Carly's shoe, some of her hair cut off, and her finger, and one of her teeth. He then picks up a big hunk of wood in the floor and places her body under the floor, placing the wood back. The screen goes black, and you can only hear Carly's last words, "Please don't kill me, Neville, please!" That echoed as the show ended. Afterwards, only hear Carly's last words, "Please don't kill me, Neville, please," as the show ended. Afterwards, I had major insomnia and nightmares when I could sleep. The episode was removed from the web after like 600 people who downloaded it, and they sent complaints to the police. The end.
The end.
I
That's
really
a really
like
good one.
that they screamed when Neville showed up and nothing else like related to that. It's just they saw Neville on the screen that says "I scream in terror." Ending
Well,
sucked.
up to him is Carly's dead body with stab wounds in her stomach.
Yeah, it's just stab wounds in her stomach. No more iCarly.
No
more
iCarly.
Boom, boom,
I
boom, boom,
dislike
boom. Ba-da-ba-dum, bum, bum, boom. She's like doing that. She's making YouTube shorts.
Oh my god.
I have a video. I have a video to read.
You have a video?
I have a video to read, and that video is called the CREEPYPASTA. It's called Dead Bioncle.
I do hope
Oh
the neighbors
my
didn't
God.
hear me scream, "Please don't kill me."
On June 27th, 2004, I got a GameCube and a couple games for it. One of them was Bioncle Heroes. It took me 10 days to complete it, but I did. I stopped playing it after a year. 3 years later, I tried to play it again because I wanted to beat it again, but all it says is the typical GameCube could not read disk message. So I went to GameStop, and I went through used games. It took me a while to find it, but I found it at some point. My mom bought it, and I went straight to my GameCube when I got home. Chapter 2, The Beginning of a Nightmare.
I love when they have chapters.
I forgot to read. Chapter 1 was before this happened. Chapter 2, Beginning of a Nightmare. So I put the disc in there. I didn't even look at the disc. I wish I did. So it started up normally, but instead of the typical GameCube bluish purple, it was red, not blood red, but just red. I ignored it and continued. I vote to myself, it's probably just a graphic error. I mean, I haven't played this in 2 years, so of course it will have graphic errors. And I continued. The menu screen for it was normal. There was a save file already on there. Well, of course there would be. I wanted to start a new game, but when I pressed A, it did nothing. So I went to the save file. It was 100% done, so I started it. The loading screen was as usual, and it started up in the final level of the game. I was Joller. Hold on.
That was Joller?
Hold on, give me 1 second. I need to have a second window open for this one, I think.
What?
I need to try and... Give me 1 second. I need to understand what I'm visualizing here a little bit. Okay. I'm just putting this in the corner so I can understand. So, like, as reference, I guess. I don't know my Bionicles. Okay, so that's Joller.
That's Joller.
That's Joller. I was Joller, but I couldn't pick anyone else. And there was no masks. And I had all the upgrades, so I beat him easy. But Vizon or Fenrak... Okay, that's
Are you looking at more
and Fenrak is the spider. Okay, cool. But Vizon or Fenrak wasn't there. It was all silent to no music. Not even the boss music. There was no Mask of Life either. I moved around a little bit, not knowing what to do. That's when I heard my door creaking. I looked behind me and it was closed. I looked behind, and Joller was at half a heart now. I said to myself, what attacked Joller? I looked around and saw nothing. Then, it happened. A weird Bionicle I never saw in a Bionicle game. It had the head of Vizon, but the body of Joller. It was all black and red eyes. It insta-killed my character. That's when I knew something was wrong, so I shut the game off. I noticed it was 12:30, and oh, S asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I have to go to bed. My mom is gonna kill me. So I went to bed, and I had this weird dream. I was inside of the game. Viscerax.
I really like this edition.
And all of them lunged at me. And I woke up. Chapter 3, starting it up again.
Oh my god.
As a creepypasta fan I am, when I woke up, I went straight to the GameCube and turned it on. It wouldn't start. I tried again, but nope. And finally, I started it one more time. And instead of the blocks making a GameCube G, it went straight to the Bionicles menu. This time it wasn't normal. It didn't say Bionicle Heroes, it said Bionicle. Just Bionicle. Load game was gone. Every option except new game was gone. I tried new game, but no avail. I tried it again, and it immediately went to the game no loading. I was in another boss fight. This time it was Vizok. Vizok was there. I was Vizon, though. And that is weird. This is a new game. And Vizok wasn't trying to kill me or anything. When I pressed A, it showed a cutscene of Vizok getting crushed by a big rock. He was apparently dead. So I tried to grab his mask, but when I did, Vizon immediately died. The game showed Joller apparently dead back in the final level. Joller spoke, "Help me!" And then it went back to the game. I was Vizok this time. I was in a graveyard. I never saw that level in the normal game. I paused it and I went on my computer and played my computer for 2 hours. Chapter 4. The
Jesus
nightmare
Christ.
continues. I went back to my GameCube and I unpaused it. I noticed the graveyard was very long and I walked Vizok through it. It kept popping up. Joller. And Vizok dead. And I finally got to the end. Vizon's theme played and a boss fight started. Jollar and Vizok showed up and they both killed Vizok.
I'm at like a complete loss. There's so many fucking characters.
Vizon spoke! You shouldn't have killed us! The phone rang. I picked it up since my mom told me to. An ominous voice spoke, just like Vizon's voice. You shouldn't have killed us. Then I heard a knock at Mama. Sorry, I just saw what happens in the story. Then I heard a knock at my door. I looked out the window, and there they were. Vizon and Jollar were there. Vizok was near them, dead, and his limbs were dismembered. I shut off the GameCube and looked at the disc. It didn't look anything like the normal disc. It showed all the Bionicles, excluding the bosses, dead. I burned the disc, and when I burned it, the flame went out and the smoke created a skull. Yet the disc was burned. I looked out my window, and Jollar, Vizok, and Vizon were gone. I will never look at Bionicle heroes the same way again.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Epilooge!
Oh my god.
My mom got a disc cleaner and fixed my old Bionicle Heroes game after it was done. I got my courage up and I started my GameCube. The GameCube screen was normal. It went to the menu normal. The screen was normal. I went to load games and sadly my save files were corrupted and they deleted themselves. I started a new game and I played the game normally, but two things bugs me. What was that thing at the start of the game? And why is there a fourth bonus level that looks exactly like the graveyard in my old game now? I guess I will never know because I don't dare go back to that graveyard. May 17th, 11:48 a.m. 2014. Second Epilooge.
Oh my God.
Epilogue.
Second?
I started back up the game and got my courage to unlock the graveyard. And I did it automatically unlocked after I beat Vizon and Fenrak. I went to it. It was exactly just like the graveyard, but no signs of Vizok, Jollar, or Vizon dead. And when I got to the end, it transported me to what appeared to be a arena where you fight the enemies that you unlock by doing certain things. Then another boss fight started. It was Vizok. I easily destroyed him, same with Jollar too. Then the final one was Vizon, and I was also playing as Vizon, but the enemy Vizon didn't have Fenrak with him. And then I went to a cutscene of the two Vizons fighting, dismembering each other limb by limb. They both died, and my game shut off by itself. I turned it back on, and the game played like normal. I still had my save files.
God.
And all my characters and upgrades, and the fourth bonus level wasn't there anymore. The end.
Oh my god.
At what point do you just stop reading the story?
I love
Like-
when a creepypasta is just talking about a game you like in extreme detail.
I really like that the Bionicles show up in front of his house and it's never mentioned again. That's my only real thing that I wanted to read this for, because it's so weird. It's such a strange creepypasta, you can completely, like, glide over it. Vizok, Vizon, and the other one show up, like, outside of his home, and one of them's dead, and then he, like, plays his game some more. and then he just kind of doesn't do anything with it ever again. It's worth noting, every single individual word of this creepypasta pretty much is, starts with a capital letter. Every word's a proper
I love when
noun.
that happens.
That's why I had to read it, like, in that
Yeah, so, like,
exact way.
emphasize it.
It was like I was reading a bunch of, like, people's names out loud, and there were, like, 3 sentences, maybe, in that whole story. Oh.
Synth, you said you had one more?
Got one more for us?
Yes.
I've got one last one, too.
Alright. Pizza Tower Secret
No.
Build.
No!
No! Oh, Synth Radio, you can't do this!
Back in 2018, I was a developer for Pizza Tower.
Oh, shit!
One late night in July, I was sent a build. The build was called the, quote, secret build, no unquote. Of course, I thought it was talking about the 6 secrets in each level. This was before there were 3. I downloaded the file. It was almost 1 gigabyte. I opened the file. Inside were 3 settings. Settings, Pizza Tower, and Save Data. I opened the Pizza Tower file. The game started. A screen popped up stating that this is a very early test build, and some other stuff such as controls. I spawned in a room with purple and black floors and purple bricks in the back. I saw Peppino's face in the corner, just like the one that they had sent me the day before. But Peppino looked weird. Instead of his usual panicked look, he was expressionless and pale. I looked at Peppino you control, and he had a gray outfit. They must not have liked white on him, I mumbled. I then noticed the music wasn't the same cheery Italian pizza theme. It was a low-volume Spider-Man 2 game pizza theme!
Oh, come on.
I went through the room, jumping over metal blocks and breaking through doors. As I ran, Peppino's face in the corner became more and more distorted, and the screen got blacker and blacker. I stopped running, and the black faded, and so did the distorted Peppino face. Though, I saw something in a hole in the wall. It looked like Pizza Face! I brushed past it, and kept running until I reached the metal blocks. Jumped through them, and ended up in a large room with a background with purple pillars and statues of Peppino. I ran through the place until I found a door in the middle, which I remembered as the, quote, pizza room, which was a room with a wavy pizza as the background. It was the same, except the topping found in there was nowhere to be found. I searched every corner of the room and came out with nothing. A bit later, I grabbed the sword and the stone and went through the tutorial room. Midway through, I ran through a wall and got sucked up by an eye with pinkish purple eyelids. I was very confused. In the room, there was a wavy backdrop of strange things, and the floor also looked like this. I figured out this was a platforming challenge.
Jesus Christ.
After a while, I went through another eye and left. When I returned to the level, there was a straight black background with the moon. The music was gone. The only sounds left were Peppino sound effects. I thought, is this supposed to happen? I left the tutorial and there were 0 enemies, toppins, or even anything to make points. I was walking through the level when suddenly text popped up where Peppino's head should be. It said in red, "Don't make a sound." I immediately froze in fear and stood still. Fully still. Then I heard footsteps. On screen walked a strange toppin. It was a fully gray mushroom. I looked at the screen and nothing. The screen was fully black. I was shaking. Then boom! My PC shut off. It's still playing footsteps on the loop.
What?
I got it back on after a while. Text popped up stating, "It's running time!" There was a black timer at the bottom of the screen. 2 minutes 30 left, it said. I started sprinting as fast as I could. After a long time running, I was almost at the door. Then, I ran past the now empty hole in the wall and looked behind Peppino, only to see Pizza Face, fully gray, going way faster than me.
Fully gray.
This is a baffling one if you've never seen Pizza Tower for longer than, like, 1 frame.
Peppino!
He caught me, and an animation played of Peppino falling on the ground, and in the background there was large text stating, "Behind you!"
That's it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Bo
I
says
see.
This is probably crazy to a 5-year-old.
It
I'm
would be crazy
imagining
to a
some
5-yo.
imagining a fucking 8-year-old like, oh, Pizza Face, not quite Pizza Face.
Peppino behind you!
Spider-Man music.
This was almost certainly the worst one I came across today.
You mean the worst one that you wrote?
You
Okay.
wrote all of yours?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to give them process of elimination, Synth.
Alright.
Let me look at my list. I have a couple to be my final. I'm gonna read the titles of the one I don't do, because I think this one's the most fun. The ones I'm skipping are Kid Picks Creepypasta.
Oh my god.
And Pingu Starts a Riot.
Why does he do that for?
You can find out in your own time. Maybe next year.
Alright. What are you doing though? To send us on
Why I
spoilers?
Hate the Circus.
Oh.
Have you ever been to a circus performance?
No.
If not, then you understand some of the trauma I've been through.
Oh shit.
First off, my name is Abercrombie Dalton.
Your name's
call me
fucking
Abby.
Abercrombie? Fuck you!
You can call me Abby.
Alright, Abby.
This is heart-wrenching for me to try to recount, but it's the only way to get my story across.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
It was the May of 2004. Me and my family were in Dallas to celebrate Dad's 34th birthday. The day we arrived, 25th, I noticed a large poster for something called a circus. I was turning 5 at the time, so I had no idea what a circus was. My mom explained it was a fun place with clowns and acrobats and animals.
No shit, true.
It sounded fun to them, so Dad announced that they would celebrate his birthday there, so I could experience the joy of the circus that he felt when he was my age. Oh, if only it was a joy, I felt, instead of gut-wrenching terror. I might as well try to describe the events I witnessed. The entrance was a magnificent sight. An ornate metal sign that said D.A. Min's Happy Circus, where you'll never want to leave, written in bright red paint on a white background. I stared at the strange name and blank. For a second, the image warped. The sign was bent and rusty, the paint peeling away. A picture of a frowning devil covered in blood had spontaneously appeared, and the name had changed to Demon's Hell Circus.
Oh, god damn it!
Dude.
No.
I rubbed my eyes, and everything changed back to how I first saw it.
Okay, he was probably just crazy then.
Come on, Abby. We'll miss the show if you don't hurry. Dad's voice cut through the crowd. He was 30 feet in front of me. I bolted towards him and crashed into a man wearing a devil costume. I apologized for the collision and continued ahead. I could have sworn I heard him say in a gruff voice, "It's okay, kid. After all, you'll be staying here forever."
Oh, God.
I shrugged it off, saying I was hearing things. I caught up with Dad, who told me Mom was buying tickets for the 3 of us. She appeared about 3 seconds after he said that. "Speak of the devil," Dad muttered as Mom handed us our tickets. When we entered line to get in, I noticed no one exiting the tent. "Mommy, why is nobody leaving?" I asked curiously. Mom shrugged. "I don't know, honey. Maybe the slogan's true. Maybe they just don't want to leave." After 20 minutes later, we reached the front of the line. Another man in a devil suit, like the man I ran into earlier, asked for our tickets. We handed them over. Before entering the big top, I told the ticket collector, "Nice costume." "What costume?" was his reply.
Whoa.
This scared me a little, but I ignored it, assuming it was a joke. When I entered the tent, I felt my jaw slacken and my stomach tighten. The stench of death hung in the air. Corpses littered the stands.
Oh.
I couldn't take a step without touching one. My parents were sitting in the front row. Mom ushered me over, the show having apparently already started. I sat next to Dad. My seat felt sticky. Dad said it was probably cola from someone who sat there before me, but the sticky seat and corpses were only second banana compared to the show. The current act was a tightrope walker. One of my friends did this for fun and knew how difficult it was to do unassisted. However, what she did still astounds me today. Halfway across, she jumped off the wire and crashed to the ground, her head tearing off on impact. Everyone gasped, except for me and Dad, opting to hurl our guts out instead.
What?
But amazingly, her corpse just grabbed her head and put it back on her body and then walked away off stage like nothing happened. Everyone stared, then applauded. Next was a magician. I still love magicians to this day.
Okay.
Although I questioned my love for them after what this one pulled. It was a simple sawing a woman in half trick, with him choosing Mom to be the volunteer. However, after the magician started to saw her in half, Mom screamed out in agony. As he went further down, blood started to pour onto the main ring. Her eyes paled as she started to succumb to blood loss, and she died in the box.
My God.
Once again,
That's
me and
horrible.
Dad started
This
to
is a-
literally puke our stomachs out for a good minute. When eventually we stopped, the magician darkly stated, "And now for the grand finale! Taking the souls of everyone watching and taking them to hell!"
God damn it!
First! I stared, horrified, as the magician's body began to bulge. He grew himself larger and larger than the center ring. Horns spouted from its head, and wings from its back. The magician had transformed into the devil himself. Dad got my signal of fear, and we both got up and started to run. But
Dad
fate
got
decided to be
Signal of fear.
Fate decided to be cruel to Dad as he tripped over a mere 2 feet from the exit. Some sort of tentacle wrapped itself around his ankles and pulled him in. I turned around just in time to see the devil suck the life out of Dad and discard his corpse like it was nothing but
God,
trash.
Man, this shit
No.
sucks.
I bolted outside as the first screams erupted. Devil men chased me as I continued to make my escape, but I didn't get caught by them.
Oh.
As I fled towards the hotel and out the entrance gate, I turned and watched as the whole circus was pulled into a hole. I didn't know where it leads. Maybe to hell, maybe to the moon. But to what I did know is that I'm never going to a circus anytime again. So that's it. The story of how I escaped a hellish circus and became an orphan. I have one warning, so read this well.
Okay.
If you ever see a poster for D.A. Min's Happy Circus and you've got tickets, tear them to ribbons. That way you'll dodge the fate of my parents.
I'm glad we're getting back to moral stories.
The moral is don't go to
Don't go
D.A.
to
Min's
this
Circus.
Don't go to Demon Circus, or you might not like what happens.
You
to
might be in some trouble.
You might become
Good
an
message.
orphan.
That's a good message.
The way that he says "become an orphan" is like he leveled up or something. Like it's like a different thing that he is now. It's kind of awesome.
I think there's something just extremely funny about that one. Their sort of lack of reaction to anything is really...
The mom gets
really
cut
stood out
into
to me.
bits and they throw
The
up.
mom
and
gets
then
cut in
that's it.
half and they throw up and go back to watching.
Like, oh, I can't leave though. It's kind of a good show.
They also open that paragraph with, "I still really love magicians."
I love magicians, even though one did cut my mom in half.
Oh my God.
All right, Noel.
Ugh,
What's
yeah.
your final? What's your final?
Oh, I said the iCarly one was my final.
Oh, it's your final? Okay.
Yeah.
Well. Alright, I have one last one then.
Uh-huh.
That'll play us off. My last story is called Unhappy.
Okay.
My name's Richard and I love the Minions. Every one of them.
Mhm. Okay.
From Bob all the way to Stuart. Most Minions fans don't like them for the right reasons, if you ask me. They like them just because they're funny or because of the gross out humor, and those are fine and good with me, but there's more to the Minions than that. Those little yellow pills have other things too, like a lust for life, joy, happiness. And nothing better illustrates that than the Minions' very own song, Pharrell's Happy. I always loved listening to Happy, even separate from the Minions. Nothing cheered me up and made me feel like I had to keep pushing more than that song. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Don't mind if I do. But one day everything
I feel that.
changed. It was a day like any other. I was doing my usual rounds at the Goodwill bins, trying to score cheap games and DVDs.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Go on.
Don't worry though. This isn't some normal story where I found a cursed Pikachu or something. But something yellow was definitely there. That's right. It was Minions. But it wasn't Minions 1 or Minions 2 The Rise of Gru. It was Minions 3 with no subtitle. It seemed funny to me, so I put it in my cart, and it was just one of many things I bought. and then I promptly forgot about it. Until that one fateful day. When I was digging through my stuff a few months later, I found that DVD and decided it was finally time to give it a look. The cover was odd. It was all of the minions gathered around a scrap of fabric on the ground that looked a little bit like Gru's scarf. It seemed to me that Gru had not only risen, but perhaps he had fallen. But the jury was out as I popped that disc into my PlayStation 4 and started watching. It seemed like it was a rough proof of concept for Minions 3, or maybe a weird fan film. Minions 3 wasn't 3D animated. It was 2D images of the minions that looked like they came from Google Images, sliding around on backgrounds, making those minion sounds we all know and love from other Minions movies, but
From
other than
other
that, it was
Minions
basically
movies.
plotless. Definitely nothing compared to the films made by Illumination. It was silly of me to expect this to be a real copy of Minions 3 anyway. Illumination was run in France and I was in Montana, the furthest possible thing from Paris. I was mad at myself. So mad I felt like Patchy the Pirate in the episode of SpongeBob where he finds the lost episode and it's just lost walk cycle, so he starts
Jesus
tearing down his
Christ.
posters and breaking his posters of SpongeBob. Except I didn't have any Minion toys in my media room to break. I felt so stupid. But things changed as I started hearing Happy coming through my plasma television. As long as I got to hear this song, life couldn't be so bad. At least that's what I would say if this was the Happy I knew and loved. But it wasn't. Through my speakers, a dark song began playing as pictures of minions slid around in front of a picture of what appeared to be a dark, dark dungeon. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Darkness here, do not look away. I'm a wicked man from another place. I'll take you with me, you will go away. Pharrell wouldn't say that. It wasn't right. I started to only get angrier as the song reached its chorus. I'm unhappy. Clap along if within the dark evil stews. I'm unhappy. Clap along because I just put my curse on you. After that part, the DVD froze and skipped, repeating "put my curse on you" over and over again. I was mostly confused. It isn't like this is some kind of creepypasta story. It's real life. But after a few repetitions, I started to feel like I was in one of those stories, especially when a picture of Pharrell slowly drifted up until it covered the whole of the screen. But it didn't stay just a picture. First, his face became more and more gaunt, and he turned grayish, while his eyes darkened. Then Pharrell started moving in a weird way, like a mocap animation or weird puppet, reaching his hand out to the camera while a loud static noise got louder and louder until it was unbearable. I was admittedly scared now, and I kicked my PS4 in response, turning it off with one mighty blow. I didn't want to hear that happen to Happy, and I didn't want to see Pharrell like that. It wasn't right.
Oh, my.
I tried to calm down later that night by watching the Minions on my iPhone, just to remind myself it was still normal, like I remember. But when Happy played, I couldn't get that horrible version of it I heard in Minions 3 out of my head. It was like I was hearing it still. I was hearing it still. I shot up out of my bed and sprinted to my media room, and I saw that horrible Pharrell on my screen again, but the static had turned into something else. It had turned into screaming. Here comes bad news, talking this and that. Yeah, well, I'll give you all I got. I won't hold back. Yeah, well, should probably warn you, you won't be fine. Yeah, on your mortal soul, I will dine. I couldn't help it. I joined the chorus of screaming that was present in the song's background, and I ripped the PlayStation 4 out of the wall, and I threw it on the ground, stomping on it over and over again. And I went to bed, where I had nightmares. Horrible nightmares.
Man.
It was the Minions, but they were melting and screaming for help as they were reduced to yellow sludge. But above them all was Pharrell, singing that damn song. I woke up at 6 a.m., almost 6 hours earlier than I usually do. I knew something was wrong.
God.
Something deeper than just a weird video. but I tried to shrug it off as I opened my door and walked right into Pharrell's gnarled open hand, gripping my throat with great force. He looked at me directly in my eyes, but his eyes were empty, devoid of light or life, just black orbs of hate. He opened his mouth, and roaches clambered out, accompanied by a trickle of dark sludge dripping onto my carpet, as he repeated that chorus to his song again. I'm unhappy. Clap along, because I just put my curse on you. He sung the song, and almost without any control, I started to clap along, clear as day in my head.
Oh,
Pharrell looked down at my clapping hands and back up at my face as his face turned into a wide grin with pointed teeth, his eyes narrowing like a snake's. The sing-song tone of happy left his voice and was replaced with a wicked rasp. It's been a while since someone's watched that video. My video. I tried to respond, but his grip was too strong, and I was getting tired from clapping so much. Save your breath, mortal. Do you even know what you've done? Do you know who I am? You're Pharrell, I managed to choke out. Ha 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 ha. You're kind I am, but the reality's not so simple. Have you ever thought about how the minions became so successful? How they took over the world? They're lovable, I said. Wrong again, Richard. It was a pact. A demonic pact with me. Infinite success for those yellow things. And all it takes is some sacrifices for me, Pharrell. Or my true name, Fair Hell. No! Yes, he said. And he took off his famous big hat, revealing he had two tall devil horns.
Oh, no!
Allow me to... Ah! Fair Hell screamed as I punched him right in his stomach. I guess even demons don't like how that feels. I scampered away and tried getting out of the house, but as I opened my front door, nothing but a red void awaited me, stinking of sulfur, lava everywhere. Not only was Fair Hell from hell, he took me and my whole house down there. There was no escape. You know, I heard Fair Hell say as he grabbed me again. Perhaps you can be more useful than just another soul. You have fight. You know how minions are made, right? I shook my head no.
Oh my god.
It's as simple as this, he yelled, crushing my head down and my legs up like an accordion. I screamed in anguish as I felt my body contorting, shifting into a new shape, a pill shape. Before I knew what was happening, I was writhing on the ground in pain, looking at my hands as I regained my senses. But my hands were yellow. Welcome to the family, Richard. The Minion? That was years ago. Illumination was excited to meet me, and despite my constant pain from the Minion process, I was almost glad to learn that Bob and Stuart were real. We hang out a lot now, and I even got a speaking part in Despicable Me 5. My new life is good, though I don't remember my old life much. But remember, if you ever see a Minions 3 disc at your local Goodwill, make sure to buy it. Make sure to watch it. Because I didn't know what it was to be happy until I did. Now, I'm happy.
Great.
That's crazy. That's the fact that this one also ended like it has a moral is insane.
Good moral
Quite-
ending to stream, I think.
Quite the
Canonically, a
eloquent
minion type
too.
this. Quite the
Yeah.
eloquent minion. Yeah, because you see, they don't talk with English words, but they could type. This made me think. You mentioned that you had like a creepypasta song at some point today.
Oh yeah, I did.
Do you have that?
God, let me see.
I think that'd be a great send off.
We do have to have people guess which ones we wrote.
True.
Yeah, I'm starting this.
We have to do
I'll
it like
do-
individually per person, like one
Yeah.
at a time.
I'm gonna do it for me first.
Okay. Are
Okay.
we doing this prediction?
I'm doing it prediction. Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
I'm cool with that.
Can I-
Get your
can I
clown coins
guess?
ready. You can
Yeah, of
guess,
course we
but
guess.
don't say it
Yeah.
out loud. Only
Yeah.
vote. And then after the votes conclude, make these short votes, by the way. These should all
Yes,
only be
these are
like
gonna be
a
like
minute. So keep your eyes tuned to the fucking chat, everybody, because these votes are going to come up right now.
Well, soon. I'm typing them.
Type faster!
I have a... It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Take a look at the 6, 6, and 6. It's glistening once again with bleeding eyes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Possess toys in
You can have
every store.
so many options in a prediction
Wait,
these days.
keep going, keep going.
But the prettiest sight to see is the serial killer that will be on your own front door. A copy of Sonic.exe and a box cutter that cuts is the wish of Tom and Jeff. An iPhone 15 and a Poisoner's kit is the hope of Jane and Candy. I don't know how this part goes. And a phone and evil Patrick that hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Oh, the vote's up. Everywhere you go. There's a tree and oak hotel. I don't know. The rest of it kind of gives up at the end. I go
That's
next
crazy.
one. Jeff the killer roasting on an open fire. Tails doll nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by the choir. And folks watching Lost episodes. Everybody knows a smile dog and some mistletoe. I don't know how these goes. Help to make the season bright. Tiny little tots with their eyes all hyper-realistic will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is going to spy to see if Jeff the Killer murders them tonight. The prediction ended already.
The prediction ended. That one is so good.
So, we should also do predictions for each other.
True.
So, do you want me to just say, like, you want us to say what we think? Now that the audience vote's over.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's actually hard, because I feel like you chose ones that all feasibly sounded like you could have made them.
I'm gonna go with Rhythm Heaven, because I think anyone else would just say Rhythm Hell.
I'm gonna go with Pizza Tower, because I think Rhythm Heaven's too
yeah,
obvious.
that's true. I don't think Simp knows enough about Pizza Tower to make that one.
Yeah, but maybe you watched a speedrun or something.
Alright. Noel?
Yeah.
Which one do you think I wrote?
You definitely did do
which one
Portal.
did
I
we
think
think
that's
you
the
wrote?
only one that's a no way.
I think you did Roblox. I'm
Oh, fuck. That's a good one.
Widespread.
I forgot about the Roblox.
Oh, Roblox
Good
is
news,
actually
Noel. I did write Roblox.
I forgot about Roblox.
I literally forgot about the
you mentioned
Roblox one.
Doors. That's one of the 3 Roblox games you know.
Yeah, Roblox, that's good.
I
I
completely forgot that you read the Roblox one. I wasn't looking when we had the list.
Let's do this in
Beigeism,
order.
the only person to predict it.
Whoa!
Let's go!
Making out with 36,000 channel points.
Alright, let
Like
me
a
do...
bandit.
I'm gonna do Boots Creepypasta.
Yeah.
Which one did you read out loud? Can you remind me?
I have my list here.
Yeah, please.
The Dragon Ball Z Lost episode, what Miyamoto was scared of, Goat Jump, Kira the Killer Werewolf, Kirby Why I Hate the Circus, and I think that's it.
A big drop on Dragon Ball Z Lost episode. No one believes in Kira the Killer Werewolf.
Kira, if you wrote Kira the Killer Werewolf, it would have been insane because that's like the perfect story.
It's the perfect
written
one
by like someone who's like was mad and in like 6th grade.
I need to emphasize, I didn't have much time for this one. And I'm disappointed. I was hoping I would have much more time, but it didn't work out like that. Because we have Synth coming, we've been doing shit.
Sorry.
Can I give my pitch that I was going to do?
Sure.
I was going to do a... Well, I'll talk about it when we're done. I'll talk about it when we actually tell it. This is so tough, you never get
I know which one... The prediction's over. I know which one you did because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume you did write what Miyamoto was afraid of.
Noel.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boot and I were
64 was a dead giveaway.
Boot and I were walking to get empanadas this
I
morning.
just like
and
the
we were
idea of Frankie Kong getting shot in the head.
We were doing like a dumb. We were doing.
I had my script. Okay, so
my script I had going for, I had a whole fucking thing, and I had to change it this morning because I didn't know enough. I was going to do a Monster Rancher one, where they put a fucking evil CD into their Monster Rancher, and it gave them a fucked up monster that showed
That's
up.
actually like a good idea.
That's kind of
Yeah, it was a great idea. I really liked it, and I hit a point where I was like, "Fuck! I know how this game works. I can't do this."
Damn.
Well,
And I was just like, "Yeah, I got a beeline. I got
I
a beeline
kind of
away."
had that too, and I'll talk about it when it's my
Really?
turn. Yeah, I'll talk about it when it's my turn. Noel, what one
I
did
was
you
like-
read?
Just really quick, I was like, there's no way anyone's writing creepypasta about Beta Kong 64.
Yeah.
See, I feel like it makes sense for
They
someone
definitely
to
are.
write about that, but that's just me.
Damn.
All right,
Maybe.
Noel.
So
what'd you write?
5.
Wait, yeah, what were your 5?
My 5 were holder of balance with the tiny man with the gun, and you tell the other one to kill himself.
Yeah.
Birch Tree Road, the one about the guy who I don't even fucking remember what
It
that
was
one
like
was
the
about.
Michigan guy who killed you, but also is your
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
It's the crazy Michigan one, and then there's Lucky Burger. It's about Lucky Burger. Everyone knows that one.
Yeah.
iCarly.
I can't find Carly spelled in the Carly format. And then Silence in the Darkness, which was the vampire plot twist.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm starting this one too. What's our vote for Noel?
The one I wrote.
Oh wait, no.
I think Noel wrote Holder of Balance.
I
I
also
think that's the long shot.
Whoa. Okay. What makes you say that?
I think it's the least likely, so I'm picking it.
I am gonna say the vampire one because that's the funniest.
Yeah, it was Silence in the Darkness.
Yeah. It's saying like I was watching fucking
Ridiculousness.
Like that's all it takes. No one else would be like no normal human being trying to write a scary story would be like I was watching ridiculousness and I laughed a little. And then I went to my evil ring of dead people that's in my bathroom.
What did people think this one was? Everyone thought it was Lucky Burger.
Yeah, I saw people think it was Lucky Burger. Lucky
They
Burger is
like-
too boring for me to have written.
Yeah,
100%.
that's kind of how I
it was
felt.
it was definitely the. I didn't think that you'd get so dark with the end of Holder of Balance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or
I thought
Burger's
you'd write
probably
about
one
the item.
I'm trying to
item?
remember which ones I.
Oh, the 142 of 538.
Yeah. that seemed like a Noelism.
I also like
tracks.
the idea of anybody posting. What's it called? I can't find Carly is the one that you wrote. Because I think I mentioned on stream that I told you to do that because I had it on my list.
You did. Drip Drip was so atmospheric, definitely too clever. Fuck! Oh well.
Alright, I
Might tell.
am starting the prediction for my stories. We have GameGrumps episode 666, Call of Duty The Invite, Kirby Beta, Bioncle Death, and Unhappy. You have 1 minute to guess what it is. Put your votes in.
This one is
Oh, my
so
God.
hard. I was locked in until you read the fucking Minion story, and I was like, wait. If there's no way that one of these is real.
I felt the same. If like
if Unhappy wasn't you, then
yeah,
I'm
chat's
gonna
what you're
go
talking about. If
crazy.
you found Unhappy, that's
insane.
like the most insane debate of all time.
That was Qweave 2 wrote that.
People are still voting, but I think that stream delay is going to make it so that you all think I made
people are-
Unhappy.
already saying Unhappy, so
I am going to have to refund this prediction because I wrote 2.
Whoa, shit!
I wrote 1 during stream, and I wrote 1 before stream.
okay. So I want to predict the second one. I think the should we just say it since you're refunding it?
Yeah, sure.
Did
I
you
think that
write
the
the
other
Minion
one you
one
wrote-
during stream?
Yes, I wrote Minions during stream.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about how it's really funny that creepypastas end with morals a lot. So I wanted to have one that ends with the moral.
I think the Call of Duty one was the other
Same.
one you wrote.
I think it's Kirby.
I wrote Kirby Beta.
Easy, easy, boom,
Okay.
100%.
Kirby
Never
Beta is... I think that there's no universe where anybody would write Kirby Beta.
Yeah, there's no world.
unironically.
The second that you mention a puzzle gamer who loves Lololo and La La La, it's like, Qweave, you're only doing this because I love Lololo and La La La.
No, I
The
actually...
only reason you're including them here and mentioning someone who loves puzzle games is because my ass
So,
loves Lololo and La
There's
La La.
actually a good amount of cut content in that one because King 666 was the main villain and I changed it because Lolo and Lala being there would be funnier. And also the first like 1,000 words were originally a creepypasta I was writing that I realized I didn't want to write called Tosh.666, which was my Tosh.0 creepypasta.
Oh,
So if
my
you,
God.
the first like 4 paragraphs all were about Tosh.0 and I just Control F and changed it out to be Kirby instead.
Qweave,
Oh
the thing
my
is,
God.
Tosh.0 was going to be my second choice if I didn't want to go with ridiculousness.
My problem is I was writing my Tosh.0 creepypasta and I realized I actually had an idea for it I genuinely liked that I would rather adapt to a real thing later on.
Whoa, nice.
Here's a thing for next year.
What was my Tosh.0 creepypasta was going to be Daniel Tosh is presenting a Tosh.0 episode, but he's just like commentating over videos of people dying. And he's like, what a fucking idiot that guy is! And then, like, the main character, like, comes to the guy's house. They always come to your house when I write a story.
Ping S was Lololo and La 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 smirking despite not having mouths, a conscious decision. It was a good touch.
I didn't even think about what they looked like until, until after I had written it.
For next year, I'm calling it now. I'm unhappy with my work this year. So thus, I'm gonna write my next one. Yeah, I'm not like that unhappy, but I'm like, I know I rushed it.
Kill along if you feel like
I'm
Yeah,
going to
I had
make
all
my
that.
creepypasta in advance, like a year in advance.
I think it's not bad to get it done early and like think about it a little bit because I was happy with my work this year. I felt iffy about my last 2 creepypastas I've done during these streams because I write one every year. I've written a creepypasta every year from the first one of these that we did, even before it was like we should all write one. Because I wrote Shigeru Deathimoto. And I also
famously.
wrote the one where I think like the Griffin family turns real and hunts down
Yeah.
somebody. And then last year I wrote the one where like Bart Simpson gets the powers of all the Simpsons combined. And this year I was so excited. I spent all day writing Kirby Beta because I really wanted to write Tosh.0 and change my mind really quickly and made it about a video game instead. And then I was like listening to other people do their stories and I was like, you know, it'd be really funny if Pharrell was called Fair Hell.
I need to mention that if I read Pingu Starts a Riot, I think that would have been a good red herring one. Because
True.
it does involve Pingu kills every other character in Pingu, but then he leaves and goes to The Simpsons where he kills Homer and Marge.
That's awesome.
That's fucked up.
I love a red herring one. My red herring was Call of Duty: The Invite. Which a lot of people did vote for.
Yeah, they did.
Luckily, if you put money on that, you're not being punished because I unfairly wrote 2 creepypastas this year. But that one was really fucking funny to me. That was the funniest one I had that I did not write, I think. And it was solely because, like, it is a character named Tyler. And I think that would tempt anybody into thinking I did something.
Yeah.
Well, shit. That's our yearly
Fan
creepypasta
art.
stream. Yeah, well, we'll do fan art. Thank you for, if you stuck with us through technical difficulties, thank
Guys are
you.
champs.
You know, the weak leave, but the
The
strong
most
stay.
technical difficulty stream
Literally,
we've had.
I
Probably
think
ever.
I think probably the worst stream I've had when it comes to that. Really, like, the most frustrating problems I had, and they also all took a really long time to resolve. We had a good streak going, too, actually.
I'm chilling because it was a very fun stream.
Alright, we have a couple fan arts.
Yeah, let's see him.
The fan art's awesome.
I love fan art.
From Omega,
Which is ironically not built knowing there's a story about Yamcha today.
Not built knowing
True.
there was a story about Yamcha. Omega did make a Yamcha is dead, Qweave is dead, adding to the variety of Qweave is dead. Also not knowing that stream was going to be as much of a shitfest as it was today.
This is a
two apt predictions here, and they
this
both
is its own
came true.
creepypasta.
Thank you, Omega. This is awesome. I'm gonna have to turn all of the Qweave is dead variants into stickers because I think Qweave is dead gets used a lot, and as my internet continues to be the worst thing ever, it will only be used more. Thank you. From Popgun, we have
got my 2 guns.
got my 2
Hell
guns.
yeah.
I checked my
Let me see what the
pocket for
exact
my
line
gun.
was.
I checked my pocket for a gun.
Yup, it's still there too. My gun. I patted my other pocket. Yup, it's still there too. My gun.
Did you write that twice by accident, or?
No, I fucked up the reading.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yup, it's still there too. My gun.
My gun.
This is awesome. Thank you. From Dim.
This is tragic.
R.I.P. Dude, I actually was playing Black Ops 6, and this is a map in the game. It's kind of weird, actually.
Oh, shit.
But I'm not that worried about it, so I kept playing anyways. Thank you. It's very funny. We have from Mockroach. This one's a banger. This one go kind of fucking
This
crazy.
one's complete
You
win
balled out.
sauce.
And I thought my
It came
streamers
from the
were
stream.
bad. It
I love
came
everyone's-
from the stream.
Boot
I
F
love everybody's
television.
full names.
Yeah, what's
Boot
everyone's
F
full name?
television.
We have Qweave Universe,
Moving
Boot F
Universe being your full
Television,
name is awesome.
Noel Twist, Synth
And Synth
Radio.
Radio.
This go crazy. I like that Synth is like the victim in this. Now that I think about it, I never thought about Synth being Austin Powers, meaning that he's like the survivor and we're all terrorizing him, but that actually does check out.
Someone mentioned this
never-
at some point. Like
I
the
have
idea.
never once thought about it.
I want to say it was paying, but the idea of what's it called? Austin Powers having like a 90s TV show about him dealing with monsters or
Oh, yeah.
something
Yeah.
is very conceptually funny. Like that feels like it would exist. Strawberry Mullet saying his name is Boot Leeds. True. Everyone forgets that.
But
Everyone forgets my persona's last name.
no, Boot from Television actually. Thank you, Mockroach. This goes insanely hard. This is a
It's
fucking
crazy.
absolute banger. I do not mean to understate how much of a banger that this is. I love my
epic.
chalice.
It would not be
don't
called Austin
agree.
Scared Stiff. It would be called Transylvania Baby.
And
Boot looks like he's singing.
I'm
last,
going. Oh!
last but most definitely not least, from Kimbo.
I like the bloody minion a lot.
This is what Richard did. This is what Richard had to do after what happened to him. I am glad that everyone thought that unhappy was so distinctly a thing that I would make, because I wasn't trying to pretend it wasn't. I included all my favorite tropes in Creepypasta, one of which is a random, completely off-the-path rant about something that's not related to what's happening anyway. I love when people do that in Creepypastas, when they just talk about, like, a game that they like in a Creepypasta that's not related, and being like, this is kind of like the scene in SpongeBob where Patchy the Pirate gets mad about the SpongeBob lost episode. So... barring disaster, we'll be back
Barring
on
disaster.
Sunday. I'm
Sunday with
I'm
Scared
not
Simplest.
barring disaster, but I'm
My
going to try and
favorite-
bar disaster.
Time of year.
Scared Simplest on this Sunday. We're not going to be streaming this Thursday, and honestly, that's fine. My internet might fucking need the break, as far as I can tell. But this Sunday, we will be coming back with our final Halloween spooktacular, even though it is going to be in November.
And even though we'll
Scared
still be
Simplest.
playing Silent Hill.
We will also be playing Silent Hill, but that's fine.
You know what this means, though? You know what's coming up?
A Murder Most Foul.
No.
Okay.
One of our not Halloween streams. Storage Wars.
Oh shit, is that actually a thing we're gonna do soon?
I think November is Storage Wars, 100%.
Awesome. That's one of my most anticipated
Oh my
streams right
god.
now. I'm so fucking excited for a Storage Wars stream. Storage Wars stream is on my my top 1 list, I think. If I had to list streams that are gonna happen this rest of this year, rest of the 2024 calendar year that I'm hyped for, Storage Wars is like the one for me.
The things I'm most excited for are incentives, which are probably going up to the Storage Wars stream.
Yeah.
Our inevitable supervillain stream.
I want to do a party battle tournament soon too.
True.
Yeah, party battle tournament's coming up.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
you
Synth.
crazy.
Thank you, thank you, Synth, for being a trooper and streaming later than normal, despite your 7 a.m. flight. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye.
I'm gonna put
Bye.
credits. I don't know if anyone will show up in credits because of our outage, so I don't know.
That's okay.